Zaslow, I need some details on this dream that you had last night. I need you to put us inside of your sleep, please.
I had a good dream. I think it was a good dream. Do you remember your dreams, Greg?
Rarely.
Yeah, I guess if you don't remember your dream, you wouldn't know. Anyway, I remember my dreams. And last night I had a dream that I was doing, a regular shift on ESPN Radio. I was doing radio, and I had a new co-host. My co-host was Giannis Antetokounmpo.
So your sleep is being interrupted by your amount of work. You're working a lot. You're working day and night. You're working on weekends.
You know why? Wives, they love something.
You also like money as well. I think that's part of it. I don't think it's just your wife that likes money. I think you also like money.
So he replaced Amber.
So, yeah, and it's not like we weren't together. I was broadcasting where I was, like from my home, and he was broadcasting wherever he was. We were not in the same room.
So you were on Zoom. You were on Zoom.
Yeah.
Giannis was on Zoom.
COVID radio.
And what do you remember the subject matter that you were tackling?
Yeah, we talked about a bunch of things. It was like a regular show, And but I do remember when we were talking about football, it was not his strong suit.
Realistic.
He was not strong on the NFL.
So do you remember you were throwing him questions?
Yeah.
He was in Milwaukee, and you're throwing him questions about the Packers, or like what was happening there?
We were talking, maybe like probably Monday Night Football, because that's what I was last watching before I went to bed last night, So we're probably talking about that game, talking about the Dolphins. Boy, Tua shit. But Giannis, he was...
Was that his take or yours?
No, that's mine. Better believe that. And we were talking about everything. But then I woke up at one point. I think it was probably when I woke up this morning when my alarm went off, and I thought to myself, like, damn, I wanted to see where that was going. Like we were in the middle of a good conversation on the air, and I didn't get to finish the dream.
Was that a second job for him? Like, did you ask him, why are you in the studio talking to me?
No.
It was realistic, Greg. He was imagining that it was a co-host of his, and he was just doing a regular show.
Yeah, it seemed normal to me.
But do you recall,
Really?
God, I'm really carrying him right now. He doesn't know anything on football.
Yeah.
He's a lot better at basketball than he is at radio.
My co-host isn't giving me what I need here.
Yeah. And I do remember, actually, I was late to the show, all right? So we didn't get to do any show prep. We didn't do any pre-production meeting or anything like that. And I didn't know who my co-host was until I sat down and we turned the show. I was like, oh, I'm working with Giannis today.
Was his show called Let's Be Honest?
I like it.
That's pretty good.
That's good humor.
That's my boy.
I didn't really like it. I was just trying to support you.
Yeah.
I would have silence.
I would have preferred the silence last for about 4 months. I would have preferred to just sit in the silence instead of you yes-anding the idea that the name of the show
improv.
would be Let's Be Giannis.
I'm a glue guy.
It's just, we could have sat in that silence and made everybody wonder whether or not we'd gone off the air, whether the power had gone out, and it would have just been Chris sitting and stewing in his own diarrhea. Instead, you rush in to support him, but not well. I like it isn't much in the way of support. It's just filling the silence with 3 syllables.
I'll be honest. I could have been better.
Winners on face off, now the time is here. It's a month that you're changing on the fly. Hit checks, hat tricks are gonna make them cheer. But the box start to chirp and riding high. Now it's time for action. Tonight's gonna burn this bar right up. Slap shot will light the lamp so nice. Let's go for a breakaway on the chase to raise the cup. We'll be standing on our heads till we meet them at center ice. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Baby, and we'll meet you at center ice.
I had something happen to me yesterday during that Dolphin game that has legitimately never happened to me before in the history of covering the Dolphins. When Tua slid in front of the first down, didn't get the first down, needed a yard, got half a yard, and then they had to punt. The next 10 years of football flashed before me because when he wasn't athletic enough to get a first down that required half a yard, I thought to myself, at least Drake May and Josh Allen aren't at the top of the division with their athleticism. It's legitimately never happened to me before where I'm watching something, I'm like, oh my God, that is not good enough for whatever evolves in this sport. Never mind the division. Whatever evolves in the sport, he's run 20 times this season. He's got 1 first down. Barry Jackson had that stat last night. To run 20 times means you have a quarterback who cannot get you out of trouble under any circumstances while in a division with quarterbacks who are wildly athletic that you're going to have a hard time catching up to if the sport changes much more. The game last night was frustrating to watch for a number of reasons, not just because the Dolphins lost. I am so tired of nobody throwing it down the field, like just throwing it to tight ends, throwing it to running backs. But how does Aaron Rodgers at 41 look more athletic than Tua?
Because he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Most quarterbacks
Took him
are.
out for sneaks, dude.
The thing that they did with Aaron Rodgers that was funny, trying to build the mythology around him, because I was frustrated by that game. The number of tush pushes, 3rd and 1, push your way twice with a 311-pound tight end to get a yard. Just waste my time. Waste the season, and the watching of this season has been a waste of time to anybody who cares about football in South Florida. But the way they tried to frame Aaron Rodgers, the wording that they used, Aaron Rodgers is standing 10 feet behind the line of scrimmage. He's got nothing to do with the play. He's watching it the way the rest of us are, and they say, there's Aaron Rodgers doing his thing.
It's great.
What do you mean that's him doing his thing? He's just standing there watching. He's a spectator like the rest of us. They also, one time that he did it, called him a gunslinger. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's throwing 50 times to Gainwell and his 10 tight ends.
And the best part of that was his hands were in his pockets, staying warm. So had there been a fumble right in front of them, his hands.
Well, he's
were in
only
his
got
pockets.
one good hand. He can't even do anything with the other
Unbelievable.
one.
There was
Yeah.
a sequence in which there was a small button hook route that would have been a first down, and Aaron Rodgers short hopped it moments after screaming at the sideline about how they got the play in. I was like, there's Aaron Rodgers doing his thing.
How much do you guys love Darnell Washington? It took 6.
He's electric.
It took 6 Dolphins to bring him down.
crazy.
He's still listed as 267. They put him at 267. He's 50 pounds heavier
He's
than
3
that.
bills easy. Is how bad that game was. I was just watching him a lot, and let me tell you, Adam Thielen, masterclass in wide receiver blocking. It was unbelievable.
Would you agree with me that the best number for a big giant guy to wear is number 80? That you've got 2 round numbers and it fits on a 311-pound person better than any other number. Maybe double zeros would be better, but the number 80.
69 slaps.
One would be funny.
Can't do 80. It's a wide receiver number in my mind. It's just Jerry Rice. I can't get it out of my mind.
Best 80 for the Dolphins? Irving Fryer.
Farrell Edmonds.
Wasn't Joe Rose number 80?
Big
I think
dog.
he was
I think he
84.
was, actually.
Was he 84?
I think he was 8. No, I thought he was 80.
It's good. I think Zaz might have this right. Can you look this up for me? I can't remember. I'm terrible at this. I'm really bad at uniform numbers, but I think of Joe
Famous
Rose.
number 80.
He was number 80?
Oh.
Wow, you really insulted Joe Rose by going to Irving Fryer and anybody else other than Joe Rose.
Irving Fryer was so good with the Dolphins. What are you talking
Joe
about?
Rose is
For
an
2 years.
institution. If I said Irving Fryer, legend locally or not a legend?
No, not a legend.
Not a Dolphin legend?
Not a Dolphin.
Joe Rose is a legend.
Is
Irving
Yeah,
Fryer.
but Joe Rose is a legend because of his radio career.
Irving
Right.
Fryer was much better on the football field for the Miami Dolphins than Joe Rose was.
I think Joe Rose's greatest season was about 350 yards at tight end.
Irving Fryer was pretty good for that day and age.
He was very good
Yeah,
for the Dolphins.
if he's not a legend, he's a luminary.
Not for long, though. What, 2-3 years at most?
Yeah.
345 yards for the big dog.
But Zaslow has said that he's a legend and that Irving Fryer is not a legend. And so
Gotta be
if
fair.
someone's a legend and wore number 80, then he is the most legendary number 80.
No.
No.
He's not wearing number 80 leaning into a mic. He's better at
point.
radio than he was at football.
Good point.
Irving Fryer had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. That's pretty good.
He had a couple of seasons with a lot of touchdowns too, didn't he? Didn't he have one season? I remember
his first year with the Dolphins. That was awesome.
Guys, Brian Hartline had a couple 1,000-yard seasons.
A different era.
In 93, he had 1,010 yards and 5 touchdowns. In 94, he had 1,270 yards and 7 touchdowns. And then in his third season with the Dolphins in 95, it was 910 yards but 8 touchdowns before going to Philadelphia, where he caught 11 touchdowns the following season.
Fred Barnett trade.
3 seasons, not a legend.
Chris, are you aware of where Brian Hartline is now? You are aware.
Follow the news, Dano.
Better coach than player. Easily, right? We can
Better
all agree?
recruiter? I don't think we know about coach yet. We know he's a good recruiter.
He's coaching him up.
But you want to share with the audience the whereabouts?
South
of
Florida.
Brian
A Bull.
Hartline.
Dan's beloved USF Bulls. Loves everything that's in Tampa.
Don't they play? They play tomorrow, don't they? Doesn't South Florida? Is the bowl season's about to kick off? Is it not?
Yes, it is.
I saw that the coach, the interim coach for Michigan, said that the players feel betrayed by the Sharon Moore story. He was quoted at the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, and I learned his name then. It's a terrible name, Biff Poggi.
Have you seen what he looks like?
Oh, you know about Biff. Google him.
Have you
You've
seen what he
this
looks
guy
like?
Before.
Biff Poggi.
Yeah, you've
Making up
seen this guy
names.
before.
At Le Batard Show, can you be great athletically, or can you be a champion athletically if your name is Biff with 2 Fs at Le Batard Show? So let's talk about the end of this Dolphin season and the problem of architecture that they have, because if you cut Tua today, it will hurt you just as much as if you keep him all of next season against the salary cap. It's the same amount.
This is such an easy decision. I don't understand why this is a thing where it's, if you cut Tua, it's $56 million. If you cut him, it's the same amount of money if you keep him. Great. If you have a bad player and it costs you the same amount of money to have a bad player on your team as it would to not have a bad player on your team, wouldn't you always pick to not have the bad player?
Not if you're in transition next year and it's a bad quarterback class this
Right,
year.
yes.
It's a bad quarterback class. Your solution next year won't be better than Tua. It's
Right.
not saying much. Just
Get whatever veteran off the scrap heap for $10 million.
Okay,
Really? Phillip Rivers.
You want Minshew?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
Come on.
Phillip Rivers. Do me the favor, Jeremy. I don't know the backstory. I have heard over my life the phrase "Old Man River." I don't know where it comes from. I don't know anything about it other than a phrase. Does anyone here know the phrase "Old Man River"?
I know it was a famous song. I don't know the origin of the phrase. Maybe the song popularized the phrase.
Please find out for me, because Phillip Rivers, obviously a ridiculous selection. And Zaz, I think you're being sports radio short-sighted. Any veteran is better, as if you could just go get Kirk Cousins and feel better about your bandage next year than the one you presently have to pay anyway.
Greg Cody is right.
Yeah.
From the musical Showboat, with music by Jerome Kern and lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein II.
Dan, how can you expect to ask fans to pay their hard-earned money to come to games next year and you continue to throw Tua out there? That's why you get rid of him
Sure,
and
Zaz.
just pick someone up off the street.
Okay, but when he's decent, he's decent.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's
Thank
the
you.
issue. Okay, yes, his peaks are very, very low. But his like, what he can do when everything is clicking got him best completion percentage in the league.
He's
passing
not that
leader.
quarterback anymore,
isn't.
though.
He isn't,
He's
dude.
not that guy.
Just
This is a different player.
As an independent, every time that guy dropped back, it was a disaster, and it would fool box scores too. Because if you see the stats, you're wondering. I fell asleep during that game. I thought the quarterback play was so poor on both sides. I actually left that game thinking Phillip Rivers is better than both these
He had
guys.
60 yards in the third
Every
quarter.
time that dude dropped back, you were fearful of a disaster.
He was sacked a bunch of times last night, but the IQ is so low now.
Mm-hmm.
The decision making is so unbelievably low.
It's fair to question what's happened to his brain.
it's
fair.
It's like there was a play yesterday late in the game, right, where Aaron Rodgers, and granted, Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever play the game, but there was a play where Aaron Rodgers, instead of throwing the ball away as he was about to be sacked, he decided to fall down so that the clock would keep running.
Literally cost me my fantasy season. We don't have to get into that.
Because, hey, this is a good thing to even take the sack but have the clock running. And the possession right before that, when the Dolphins are trying to conserve time, which, I mean, maybe they didn't really know that because they were huddling, but you would want to conserve time. And Tua, he's rolling out, and instead of throwing the ball away to stop the clock, he takes a sack.
Let's be honest. He's done. He's done.
This isn't like, hey, you think Tua's good over here. I think Tua stinks over here. This is not the same player the previous 5 years.
So Zaslow last night on Twitter says we're watching the worst starting quarterback in the entire league. Get rid of this guy. He's completely cooked as an NFL quarterback. Here are some stats. He's 0-6 in temperatures below 40 degrees. He's 3-12 in his last 15 games against winning teams, 3-12. And in 7 of those, half those games, he hasn't gotten to 20 points. And as Tony mentioned, the stats at the end of the third quarter, 6 for 10, 65 yards, 1 interception. And the interception was him trying to throw the ball down the field, and just a terrible throw.
It was a bad throw.
Bad decision and a bad throw, and it fluttered. It seemed like his arm strength was affected by whatever the cold was. Like the ball started waffling as if you were skeet shooting, and it just hit a quail. Like the ball just didn't go anywhere and was easy to pick off. And now he leads the league in interceptions with 15.
And here's one more. All 15 of his interceptions have been against zone defenses. That's a big problem because when you see that stat, you throw a zone defense at him. But
and to add to that right there, like I'm not some football expert, but to me that feels like that's a QB who doesn't know what he's seeing then.
Okay.
If it's right? Am I right about that?
Well, they kept giving that stat last night. I did not know that stat before last night, and they kept giving the stat last night. I will also add to this, Jalen Waddle is a number 1 draft pick. Like, there have to be ways to get a number 1 wide receiver more than 2 catches in a game, unless by design you're so scared of your quarterback throwing the ball down the field that you're just going to throw to Achane, and then spend the fourth quarter throwing to Waller. But Waddle, the amount of investment that you made in Waddle, both financially and where it is that you selected him, if he's not a bust, he's pretty close to it for where it is that you drafted him. I know he had trade value, and I know they didn't want to trade him. But in the present confines of what they're doing, Jalen Waddle is not someone you can trust to be any kind of game breaker. First of all, he drops the ball too much. But a number 1 receiver, show me all the number 1 in the receivers in the league who go 2 catches for 20 yards. Any time.
A.J. Brown, yeah.
Yeah, he's had 3 straight 100-yard games.
I know, it happens, and we're getting to the point with Waddle, where Waddle's kind of impressed me a little bit this season. I know he does a thing where he pulls himself out of games, but it's gotten to the point with Waddle where how am I supposed to evaluate this guy fairly with this quarterback who is so dreadful?
I just hate that we're all judging Tua based on this one terrible season. If in the next 3 games he looks better than he has all season, that counts too.
Oh, but why would that?
Yes,
why
I
is
agree.
that going to happen?
No, if he looks like the
you're
best
right,
quarterback
but
in the league for his next 3 starts, I'd be like, hold on a minute.
Why would you think that's going to happen?
Because that's what he's playing for right now. See, Tua has become the underdog, the long shot. If you like that kind of a story, all of a sudden Tua is your guy because you're rooting for him. I don't disagree.
That's fantasy land.
I don't disagree that he's had a terrible season. It's his worst season of his NFL
Greg,
career.
you've got to give up on him. You think this is correctable? You think the things that he's talking about, where Mike's saying it's fair to question his brain, Zaz is saying that you simply cannot trust him. He's the worst quarterback in the league. And you're pointing out that he's thrown 15 interceptions more than anyone in the league,
Right.
all against zone, which require decision-making.
Right. No, I'm not excusing this season. I'm not.
You're saying it's fixable, and I don't think anyone thinks that.
Well, what I'm saying is, and I wrote this in my column in the Herald, I've been one of his biggest supporters, okay, and he's losing me.
I have too, by the way.
That's how bad he's been.
I have also. I
Okay.
have been one of his biggest
Right.
supporters.
He's lost all his supporters. Joe Rose was supporting him all at the start of the
What do
season.
you support? He's
Everyone is out
terrible.
on him. I don't know anyone still defending him at all.
I saw a stat during the game that the Dolphins, the last 16 3rd and 10s, have completed 0. Okay, they've had 0 conversions of third down and 10 or more and 16 tries.
Right.
That's insane.
Well, that was the problem in the first half. That's why they're down 28-3 or whatever the score was, because they couldn't make a third down, and that's on Tua, right? He had a terrible game, and the fourth quarter inflated his stats and his rating and made it seem statistically like he wasn't the problem.
Greg,
He was the problem.
I know that this is somewhat redundant that we've done this, but I will tell you the last time I saw something in my own opinion making that feels like what you're presently doing with Tua, and have been doing it all season. When Wannstedt, the first couple of seasons, was 11-5 and 10-6, I'm like, you can't fire that. You can't fire 11-5 and 10-6. You can't. Everybody was howling about it. Then 4-12, they don't have a quarterback, and I'm too late. I didn't have any vision whatsoever. You sitting here holding on to Tua, and frankly, the Dolphins sitting here holding on to Tua gets in the way of anything in the way of progress if you think this is fixable. This is not fixable. Like, he cannot do anything
There,
other than
just stop right there.
other than throw the ball sideways and behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
No mobility, no arm, no situational
That's a
awareness.
bad problem, the mobility
Yes,
thing.
it is.
That's
All of
terrible.
it.
No vision.
No, I'm not excusing
What are you doing?
the season he's had. I'm saying Tua next season versus what is the alternative? Zach Wilson? No thanks.
No,
I don't think so.
The alternative's moving on. That's the alternative.
It's just closing the book there. It's not a great quarterback draft class, but there are going to be some quarterbacks available.
Right.
Make a move.
And by the way, please laugh more on the sideline with the camera on you, down 28-9. Please chuckle it up. You know what? The only thing missing when he was laughing on the sideline there, down 28-9, give him a microphone so he could yell to everyone, "Show me the money." Laugh some more.
Are we sure he's not, like, sobbing?
I watched the play. Somebody must have said something hysterical to him. Laugh it up, Tua.
You can be screaming in pain, maybe, like giving a nice little war cry for the teams as.
Greg Cody seems to be making the argument that this is fixable, that this is redeemable, that this is a blip, that it's a bad season, that it's an aberration.
Yeah, I would not write him off at this moment. Okay, but I would also say he has a lot of proving to do in his 6th year, which is terrible. I remember when Ryan Tannehill was in his 7th season, and the narrative around him was, is he good enough? Is he the guy? And you don't want to be saying that in the 6th or 7th season, and we're doing it again with Tua.
Actually, you're the only one doing it. Everyone's out on him. Tannehill, actually,
Okay.
we were still having the conversation 6 and 7
Right,
seasons
it was actually
in.
worse with Tannehill because we didn't know.
We were still wondering.
Where's he?
6
Bring
or
him
7
over.
Seasons in. This is crazy to think about. The idea that you're talking about the entirety of the 2000s so far. We're sitting here arguing about, well, maybe it's A.J. Feely. Like, we're arguing for 25 years about, do the Dolphins have a quarterback? And
Right.
the answer, except for one season, is no.
I want to play devil's advocate for Greg. The argument for keeping Tua is working with him, seeing if you can recapture some of that form, because it is pretty much a quarterback wasteland in terms of who's available. You have Daniel Jones coming off an Achilles injury is the best name. You have Sam Howell, who's played some starting quarterback in the league. In terms of trade targets, Kyler Murray is your best option over there.
That's a bum,
It's
too.
not
Jacoby
it's not
Brissett came off the
great.
couch, Mike, and they
Well,
have
Jacoby Brissett, if he were available, let's go.
He was on the team.
So much better than
He was on the
Tua.
team
We've
a couple
done
years
that,
ago.
guys.
Again, with
Literally
Brissett?
done that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't better than
No,
Tua.
he wasn't better than that to us.
Right.
He's certainly better than this.
Right.
To us.
The thing that is also concerning to me, because you guys have heard me for practically 25 years say I don't understand how it is that the Dolphins keep drafting offensive linemen and can never block anybody. He did get sacked 4 times last night, but that offensive line hasn't been something I've been complaining about all
Paul.
year
They've
in
been
terms
fine.
of
They've been better.
protecting him.
Much better.
But
Paul's good.
Yeah.
he's holding the ball,
Sacks are on
though.
him.
He's holding the ball, Greg, and
Right.
and it's not because at some point in the last couple of years, I would have blamed the offensive line for some of what was happening to him. I can't do that this
Right.
year.
Yeah. The defense, which had been much better lately, had
They were good last night.
They had a horrific second half, though.
They were always on the field.
They couldn't. They missed more tackles last night than I've seen them miss all season.
Here's the thing that we're doing today and this season that we hadn't done until now. if I'm not blaming the offensive line, and he's got the support of a running game, because he does. Like, Achane rushes the ball. He's got running game support. Then your problem is the quarterback. That the problem on your offense is your highest paid player.
Right.
I mean, that's an architectural flaw that can't be overcome.
No, it has been this season. I mean, Pittsburgh was scheming to take away Achane and force the game into Tua's hands, and rightly so, because Tua didn't do anything with it. He's had a terrible season. Is this the end of his Dolphins career? Probably, but for me, I think he's got 3 more games and next season, and then that's it.
Considering what the coach did with Tua when he got here, wouldn't you be slightly interested to see what the coach can do with another quarterback? I would.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, of course. But Tua, everybody's going to groan. Tua did make a Pro Bowl. Like, we have seen good Tua, okay? We haven't seen 6 years of abject failure. We have seen Tua when he's pretty good. And I'm just not ready to write him off. Now, if you read the column I wrote, you're not gonna get the idea that I'm forgiving his good season and I think all is well. It was probably the most critical column I've written about Tua, because I've been, and you too, I think I've been Tua's biggest supporter, and he's losing me. Like, I get the narrative that we got to give up on this guy. Everybody calling him a bum, the worst quarterback in the league. It isn't true. But maybe this season it is.
All right, let me again though do what it is that I did over a half yard that I can do over the next 10 years. Okay. When Tua's last 9 games, and many of them have been wins, like they were winning in a way that made Rex Ryan go on television yesterday and say, "Hey, nerd boy, you turned it around. Congratulations, hats off to you."
Term of endearment now.
Not over the last 9 games, Tua is 10 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Now, the 11 interceptions are problematic enough, but I would also say when Josh Allen is putting up 4 touchdowns a game, 9 games with 10 touchdowns is also the same kind of problematic. It's not even like you're getting the turnovers and the plays. You're getting an equal number of turnovers to touchdowns, which makes you Jay Fiedler. That's what that makes you if you're going to be in the modern. And it's not even Jay Fiedler.
Yeah, he's not as good as Jay Fiedler.
It's not even Jay Fiedler during an age that was different. It's during this age. Actually, during Jay Fiedler's age, you could be a quarterback who had as many touchdowns as interceptions. Now nobody turns the ball over, but when you're playing against Drake May and Josh Allen in your division, and that's what you're going up against it with, like we have to acknowledge that everything that happened with Tua leading the league in passing, Tyreek Hill was that. That's the reason that all of that happened. Like, you take Tyreek Hill out, and you've got a totally pedestrian quarterback.
Okay.
It was also the system that kept everything decisive, right? That's when Tua was at his best. Decisive. One step, throw. One step, throw. Tyreek, yak. Waddle, yak. Achane, yak. Now you take Tyreek out. Waddle can't do anything. Waller has been decent when he's been on the field, but you're going to give the ball to Achane 40 times a game. You're going to kill him.
Of course you miss Tyreek, and so did Patrick Mahomes, by the way, and still does. But, look, if you're judging Tua solely by this season, I have no rebuttal because he's been awful. He's been terrible this season. There's no excuse for it. I'm not equivocating it. I think he's better than he's shown this season. I think he's young enough not to give up on his future. He's got a ton to prove. I'm giving him 3 games. He's got next season because they don't have a great alternative to him next season beyond the financial aspect. And so that's the only place I differ. Everybody else is saying he stinks. He's the worst. No, he's not. Give him 1 more season.
I think what's fooling you is what we're seeing right now with Tua, with a 27-year-old quarterback, is normally what we wind up seeing with the 37-year-old quarterback. Because if you were 37, you wouldn't be saying he's just having a bad year.
Right.
Maybe he'll bounce back. You'd be like, no, this is the end. He's cooked. And I think that's the confusing part for you because he's only 27, but I believe that is the case, that his career is ending now after just 6 years instead of being in the league for like 12 years.
Okay, you may be right, but I'm not confused about anything. I know exactly how old he is.
Talking to the mic.
I know exactly how old he is.
But we've never seen this before. A quarterback at 27 looking like he's 37 is what I'm trying to say.
You've seen plenty of quarterbacks have bad seasons in their prime. It happens. It happens. The problem with Tua is that he doesn't have another part of his game to make up for it, right? No, I totally agree with that. And part of that is you're worried about, oh, my God, I hope Tua doesn't get another concussion because that'll retire him. Well, what he's doing is playing a game to avoid concussions.
Oh, he looks scared out there.
Well, and that's a real problem, man. When he's running and has to pick up 2 yards for a first down, what are the odds against that?
And the field's open in front of him, and you see that he looks like he's running in molasses. What do you make of this Jalen Ramsey sound? Jalen Ramsey traded to the Steelers on the field. This is Jalen Ramsey. He's talking about Tua, right?
After a big play, looking at the camera about like going off the field, he's weak as just mean. I'm as out on Tua as anybody. I didn't like that.
You're the one playing it.
I want to turn your attention to examples like Carson Wentz and Robert Griffin III, quarterbacks that had it cooking for a little bit, both in MVP consideration, and then injury changed their careers. Carson Wentz has fought like hell to stay in the league. Robert Griffin III pushed out of the league. Injuries caused that. Injuries might be causing this one. Mm-hmm. It's just not one that you can see. He's not this guy that leaned on his athleticism like RG3, or it's not an elbow injury the way that it was with Carson Wentz. It's between the ears.
He's an avatar for our lack of understanding of brain chemistry and brain injuries in that sport, because I don't know how to discuss responsibly that his brain is scrambled, but if you had to hypothetically come up with a performance that would look like what the hell happened, it would look a lot numerically and in play, Greg, like what it is that we're watching, where you can play zone defense against him. Zone doesn't work against anybody in that league who's any good at quarterback.
I mean, he has varying levels, but it's not. Look, he's faced zone in his career and hadn't had these types of issues.
15 interceptions in today's league, like whatever it is you guys think of inflation in the economy, him having more interceptions than Geno Smith. Look, give me the stat of the day for a second. Give me the stat of the day music so I can tell you what it is that Kenny Pickett was doing on Sunday against the Eagles. This is who you want, Kenny Pickett.
Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
Stat of the day is presented by Amazon Prime Video. Thursday Night Football is on. This week, Los Angeles Rams take on the Seattle Seahawks. Coverage begins Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video.
That's a good one.
Speaking of the Seahawks.
Can I give the stat of the day?
Yeah,
Is
go
that
ahead.
Okay? Yeah, 'cause, we got a sponsored segment here with
Sure.
the introduction and all of that
Good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us what you wanted to about the Seahawks. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to just mention as an aside that Sam Darnold has more turnovers this season than Tua. The reason you never hear about it is that Sam Darnold is surrounded by a great team, and so his faults are not exposed under a microscope like Tua's are. That's all.
And also, Seattle is great, and so is their offense.
That's what I just said. Thank you.
Well, I mean, but
I just said he's surrounded by a better team
You get some
than
of the,
Tua.
you get some of the pluses with Sam Darnold. What's the stat?
The stat is that the Raiders had 75 yards of total offense against the Eagles. That is the lowest number the Eagles have ever held an opponent to. It's the second lowest total the Raiders have ever had in a game. The 75 yards, 9 teams have had a player do that on a single play this season. On a single play, the Raiders going Pickett to Lockett, which I like poetically. Pickett to Lockett, they didn't do anything. The fact that Geno Smith has fewer turnovers than Tua, when that team offensively has not only been a disaster, it's been a disaster that makes me wonder what the American media was doing, thinking Tom Brady was cheating by wearing a headset to help the Raiders offense. Like, we all yelled about that. He wasn't helping, isn't helping at all. Neither was Chip Kelly. and what it is that Tua has done in terms of turnovers in an offense designed, by the way, Greg. This is the thing about the 15 turnovers that's most alarming. It's all designed so that he doesn't turn the ball over. Like the only time he's turning it over is when he dares to go down the field. It's not like any of these screen passes are ending up in the turnovers. Like they're trying to hide their quarterback. You can't do that in the NFL.
Like I say, I have no excuse for the season he's having.
Tua threw the ball away on the 2-point conversion attempt.
Yeah, like he airmailed it.
Why would you throw it away on a
can return
2-point
that.
conversion?
They can return that. That's 2
Did just have a
points.
pick too.
That never happens.
I do think it's curious, and I know they have axes to grind, and I know they're outspoken. Hell, one of them retired after playing the Dolphins. But Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, those are guys that went up against Tua in practice often, and they don't seem to have the greatest things to say about them. And, I mean, what Xavier Howard said, you take away the primary read, he's done. Yeah. Xavier Howard, the same
I
Xavier
think he said
Howard.
something about Tua panicking, right?
Yeah, the same Xavier Howard that decided, I can't play anymore. He had a pretty good game against the Dolphins week 1 because he knew he was going up against Tua. It is just curious. They're former teammates.
I hate watching him. I do. I hate it. I hate watching him play
Everybody
football.
does this season.
You're pretty alone here.
I know.
And you've been alone all season on it. You're
I'm
like
Mr.
I
Lonely.
feel like he's sitting on the fence,
no,
if you
but-
ask me.
Really?
Fence sitter.
You just wanted to play that sound. That is absolutely not fence
And
sitting.
he's like, I see why everyone's criticizing him, but I'm not. Well, it's like this. What do you like? You're. I'll do it again.
Fence sitter.
Okay,
Have an opinion.
have an opinion. The easiest thing in the world is to, in the middle of the season he's having, to say, Tua stinks. He's the worst quarterback in the league. Let's get rid of him.
You're
He's
zagging?
done. He's spent.
He's zazzing.
I mean, that's the easy opinion, is to say Tua sucks.
It's also easy to talk into the mic, but we don't all do it.
Closer to, that's a fair point. Closer to a pragmatic view is that at age 27, I'm not willing to give up on this guy entirely, particularly when I look at their economic situation and who's better next season. Give him 3 more games, give him next season, and then make a move. And the Dolphins have shown, by the way, in that 4-game win streak and 5 out of 6, they've shown that when you have Achane running and a better defense, you can win games. It's
No,
not
they just
all
played
about
bad
Tua.
teams. They just played bad teams,
They were
Greg.
really bad
Come on,
teams.
I gave you the stats, Greg. The last 15 times they've played good teams with a winning record, they've lost 12 of them. He's 0-6 in 40-degree temperatures. What do you think you're going to get on the road in December when you have to go on the road? You're going to get those flutter balls that he was throwing last night whenever he dared to go down the field. It's weird to me that I have just felt over the course of this hour and this season, Chris, what your mom feels like married to your dad. He's just stubborn. He's just stubborn.
I am stubborn. I'll give you that.
But that's all you're doing. You're just sitting here saying, well, I've still got a chance to be right. Let's just give him 20 more games.
And I acknowledge what everyone sees, and I see it too, but
I know he's terrible, but maybe he'll stop being terrible.
I know he's in the middle of the worst season of his career. Whether we're writing him off because of that is where we all differ. I'm not writing him off.
Guys,
At age 27, come on.
Guys, I'm very excited to announce I've been moving stuff out of the house and trying to find stuff and whatever. Look what I found. The Things to Ponder file. Zaz, you know about this?
No.
Oh, buddy. It's things that you want to ponder. You put it in the file. You take it out. You ponder them.
He's moving homes, and you locate a bunch of things that you haven't seen in a while. I think that's pandemic era. I think that
Close
file
to it.
that file is 4 years old. Where did you find it? Where was it?
It was
hiding?
underneath like a book somewhere, like in an attic. But the question du
books be
jour.
hiding things.
This was 3 years ago. Baker at 20 million or Tua at 55 million. That's something that we were asking a couple of years ago. Just putting that out there.
I'm not positive you didn't write that last night, but go ahead.
Whoa!
Why would I do
You're
that?
accusing him of being counterfeit?
I mean, that takes too perfect, a little too perfect for me.
How about this? How about will Aaron Rodgers finish top 3 in MVP voting? Is that carbon dated enough for you?
With what team?
It doesn't matter. Who cares?
He would have been if the voting was last night.
How about this one to carbon date it? Will Bill Belichick ever coach again?
Yes.
So these are just
Unfortunately.
these are 4-year-old things that you found in a file under a
Yes.
book. I don't believe you have either a book or an attic in your house. So I don't believe you're
Well,
being accurate
not an
about
attic. It was like a top of a closet. My bad. How about how about this?
Picturing Home Alone.
China buying U.S. farmland? Thanks to Ponder. I don't know what happened there. Who put that there? Bill Gates. How did that get there?
This does seem authentic.
It does seem like that's a little bit
Tony.
dated. Can you imagine if they had Baker Mayfield right now? I imagine it would feel a little bit different, although they would still be behind Josh Allen and Drake May in their division.
Last one, Russell Wilson at $2 million or Tua at $55 million?
That one you actually got wrong.
Russell Wilson will be available if you guys want him next
Yeah.
year.
Jeremy has
I'll take him.
Jeremy has 11 quarterbers that will be free agents next year that he wants more
All
than
right,
Tua.
name them with fanfare. Let's go. Top 11.
All
Number
right.
11.
Well, I don't know. All right. Sam Howell.
Number 10.
Tommy DeVito.
Oh, God.
Number 9.
Gardner Minshew.
Number 8.
Carson Wentz.
Number 7.
Trey Lance.
Oh,
Oof.
God.
Number 6.
Case Keenum.
Woof. Number 5.
Mitch Trubisky.
Number 4.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Number 3.
Tyrod Taylor.
Number 2.
Marcus Mariota.
Number 1.
Russell Wilson.
Wow.
This kind of proves our point.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably like 2 or 3 guys there you legitimately want more than
You wouldn't rather have Marcus Mariota? You wouldn't rather have Joe Flacco?
No.
You wouldn't rather have Jimmy Garoppolo?
Jimmy G.
You wouldn't rather have Mitch Trubisky?
No.
I
serious?
absolutely would.
Zaz,
Then another year of this?
I got one more thing in the Ponder file. Zaz, I want you to ponder this one long and hard. You ready?
Don't waste my time.
That is a Viking.
Christian Ponder.
Oh, that is a ponder.
Rather have him too.
Christian Ponder in the Ponder file.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Some stats here for Diana Rossini and by Diana Rossini. The Bills are now 4-0 this season when they allow 31 or more points. So the rest of the league is 8-70 in those circumstances. The Bills are 4-0. He is tops in the fourth quarter in quarterback stats of rushing yards, passing yards, and EPA in the fourth quarter. He's at the top of the list. No quarterback has been better in the fourth quarter. They're held together by Scotch tape, but what they've got at the quarterback position is crazy. Diana Rossini is going to join us now, but big award here for Pablo Torre. He's been named Sports Media Person of the Year by Awful Announcing. They have their annual awards. They write, when it comes to the year that was in sports media, 2025 will be remembered as the year that Pablo Torre found out perhaps no figure in sports media has managed to thread the needle of performing legitimate journalism while also adapting and embracing the reality of today's industry as deftly as Torre has. Transparently, Torre was an easy, unanimous choice for our annual Sports Media Person of the Year award, which we present to the industry's defining figure.
Wow.
Zaz, you comment on that or no? Anonymous
Whatever.
sources on Zaz?
Whatever?
Yeah, whatever.
What do you mean, whatever? What kind? Why is there not enthusiasm for our teammate and colleague?
Yeah,
What-
no, cool.
Just everyone's bored by this.
Nice.
Ask Nick Wright what he thinks.
Who's second place?
It was unanimous.
It's
It-
you.
That's what I'm looking for.
The new Max Kellerman podcast?
It wasn't close. It wasn't. You guys are not very positive about your teammates.
no, we're saying it's so obvious.
It's
This
like
was his
Mendoza's
year.
Heisman. Cool. All right. He beat, Pavia by 1,000, 2,000 votes or whatever it was. All right. Cool.
Pavia doesn't think Pablo should
He's
have
my
won either.
teammate too.
That's right. At The Athletic as well. I would have
Yeah.
nominated Diana Rossini for Sports Media Personality of the Year. I would have put her in the
Aw,
discussion.
Happy birthday, Danny boy. How you
look
doing?
at that. Thank you.
Happy
Yes.
birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
At what age do you guys think that birthdays stop being happy?
Death.
Your age.
6.
57.
Each one of them, you're above the ground. Dan was a good one.
I feel like you've asked this about 6 or 7 years in a row. So about 50.
I'm thinking 50 is about the place that I would put it. She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic, and she's the host of the Scoop City podcast. She'll be part of Netflix NFL Christmas Day doubleheader. First game is Cowboys at Commanders. She'll be in Minnesota covering Lions-Vikings for the afternoon game. Have you checked the 11-day forecast? Because I'm guessing that Minnesota is not a place you want to be during Christmas winter.
Oh, I don't mind it. It's indoors. So I'm very excited about that. I was actually just texting with someone in Minnesota right before I hopped on. What's the rough temperature indoors on a game day? And they said a nice 71, 72.
No. But
So-
wait, Diana, you got to get over there. Like, I understand that the game is not outdoors, but it's still unpleasant to be in Minnesota at anywhere outdoors.
Yeah, that's true. Do you remember the Super Bowl there? I
Yes.
do. That was probably one of the most miserable experiences in terms of dealing with just the logistics of getting from, I don't know, your hotel, which was like a few blocks from where all the action was. I remember Mina Kimes and I just huddling together to try to stay warm. It was so bad. So yeah, no, what I want to do is I want to ask a team for one of those capes. You know how the guys wear the capes
Yes.
on the sidelines?
Yeah, every time Aaron Rodgers went to the sideline, they put a cape on him.
They're massive.
No, it's exactly how you would treat royalty if you had a bunch of peasants on the sidelines just taking care of the king. They just put a big giant cape on him to stay warm for the 6 seconds he's on the sidelines.
So I found out that what it is, it's this big shell poncho that teams that play in like the tropical weather, like where you guys are, like they just wear the shell over. But in the cold weather teams, obviously like Green Bay, Buffalo, New England, Pittsburgh last night, what they do is they take like the inside of a poncho, it's almost like a quilt, and they button it inside of the shell. Some of them are heated. And how about this? Some teams, I don't know if this is that interesting to you, but some teams, their coaches don't like the appearance of it because it makes them look soft, right? Like you're huddled under this big poncho looking thing. So some teams have sleeves in it so it doesn't look so cape-like. Like remember Tom Brady like snuggling with Danny Amendola years ago in New England? Aaron Rodgers last night, he wears the big cape, but some guys want the sleeves so they look tougher outside of putting Vaseline all over their exposed skin to deal with the cold weather.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Have you ever heard anyone say anything interesting after they start with, I don't know if this is interesting to you? She mentioned Mina in Minnesota. Let's get Mina from Minnesota giving us her Super Bowl analysis from a zip line.
Still with us?
This woman is one of
Brady
the
with 4 is what it sounded like.
This woman's one of the best analysts on television. She's one of the faces of ESPN, and only you guys could get her to do that. I remember her telling me she was doing that, and what was that? That had to be over 8 years ago now, right? And I remember we were just starting together at ESPN, and I was going to hop on the show too to do something a little weird. And I remember talking to her in the Mall of America going, should we do this stuff? Is this gonna help us? Like, we're women in a male-dominated industry. You know, our credibility's on the line every second of the day. And I remember looking at her like, let's just do it. And she did it. And I think she turned out all right.
Yeah, she was legitimately terrified, though. She was conquering a fear. I can't believe that she stayed with the analysis because she was so afraid. But let's talk about this Thursday night game for a second.
Yeah.
I think that the most balanced team in the league is Seattle. The ability to stay with the Rams, even though they had that amount of turnovers, I thought was a credit to them. But, of course, if I'm looking at both those teams, I'm going to take Stafford over Darnold, as is everyone who's listening to this. So no one's going to favor Seattle over the course of the rest of the season over the Rams, correct?
Yeah. I think the jury's still out on whether or not Sam Darnold can deal with a high pressure game. No one feels good about him yet because they want to see it, right? Until we see it. Now, do I think what he's done this year in Seattle has been remarkable? And at times there have been people around the league who think he's doing a better job for the Seahawks than he actually did in Minnesota, where they won a bunch of games last year. Look, I think the teams that are running the ball well right now are the teams that are finding victory. And they've done a really good job this year, Seattle, of running the ball. In terms of what they've done collectively, right? Seattle just taking a step back and looking at them. I think what John Schneider has done is easily executive of the year type of work, right? Just from the way they've built this, moving on from Russell Wilson, which I know feels like, a million years ago, but they had to make that decision, moving on from Pete Carroll, bringing in Mike McDonald, who has been tremendous, definitely in the running for coach of the year if he continues to win this season. So yeah, I think the Seattle Seahawks give the Rams probably the biggest challenge in the NFC without a doubt.
You mentioned Pete Carroll. You think he regrets the decision to go there? Because he's not going to dig his way out of there. They are doomed because they can't fix their quarterback situation.
It is a tough place to be right now. And whenever I watch the Raiders and you see Max Crosby do something incredible like he always does, all I think about is this man's legacy, right? Like, what is Max Crosby's legacy going to be if he stays with the Raiders? Because if he was on a team right now that was in contention and competing, imagine if he was with the Rams, if he was with Seattle, if he was with the Patriots or the Bills. Look at Myles Garrett as well. Look, I think for Las Vegas, Tom Brady's had a lot of say over what they've done. And I've seen people, I think Stephen A was talking about it yesterday, like Tom Brady needs to get control over this team and call the shots. Tom Brady's not there. Like, he's physically not in the building. But there's eyes and ears on the ground reporting back to him all the time while he's doing all these different jobs. So it's almost like he's got too many jobs to grab hold of what Vegas needs, which is what I agree with from Stephen A's perspective of weigh in on what you know and what you think could help this organization. Because obviously the way they've done it hasn't been good. So Pete Carroll, look, obviously everyone's looking to see if whether or not Mark Davis keeps him. But that's definitely a place where I'm hearing people around the league wonder if he's going to survive this year because they can't get the quarterback position right.
Diana, what is going on with Joe Burrow?
Okay. So I think everyone freaked out a bit last week, and rightfully so, because Joe just was very open, right? I thought that was a very vulnerable moment for him before this last weekend's game where he was essentially just talking about how he's not having any fun, right? And I think we freak out because you hear that and you go, oh my God, like, is this going to be Andrew Luck, right? Like, or what is he dealing with something serious? We obviously don't ever want to make light of it. So I did a little digging on it and just talk. First of all, Joe Burrow is very private. We'll begin with that. Like, no one's calling Joe Burrow and being like, so what's up, man? He barely answers his phone. He barely texts back. In fact, people I talked to that are close to him shared that. They're like, here's why I know Joe Burrow's okay. Ever since he came back from his injury, he's been communicating with people more. When he was recovering from the turf toe surgery, he blocked the world out and was just focused on getting back. He had the surgery. His foot was in a cast. He wanted to get back so badly for that Thanksgiving game. He cut the cast off himself. Like, just think about how crazy that is to just not wait for the doctor to do it. You do it yourself because you want to get to rehabbing as quick as possible. And someone that's been around him for years said to me, he's like, he's a serial killer. That is how badly he wants to do this. He is a maniac about winning. And so if you ask me what's going on with Joe Burrow, it's this kid is sick of losing. He's sick of the way he's losing, and now he's annoyed with himself because he's part of the reason why they're not winning.
I was mentioning yesterday that because the Bengals have been cheap and a laughingstock the entirety of my lifetime, that I don't think people understand what a dreadful commute it is to just walk into that facility. Just the sadness and the cold of the cheapness of that facility. The place where in football that is as cheap as that feels as cold as that, if you're losing and going into the locker room is blank.
I mean, Cleveland? The problem is, I went superficial. Like I was actually thinking about the facility, right? Like the Jets
No, but that's what I'm doing too. I'm saying,
you're asking me like who's got a dumpy place?
I'm saying he's going to work every day and he realizes that he's surrounded by the minor leagues. That the only reason they're not minor league is because he's there.
Him. Yeah. No, it's a good point, and I do think that's part of some of his frustrations. He's seeing what other teams are doing, how they're operating, the type of staffs they have, the type of investment they're making into their football teams, and they're simply not doing that in Cincinnati. Now, he hasn't asked for a trade. He's not hinting at wanting out, from what I understand. But I think this is a mix of all of the things that I already went through and what you just pointed out. Because you're right, like you go through the league, and we won't go through every single team, but it's really hard right now because so many teams have done a good job of upgrading. Even if they're losing franchises, they have good facilities, right? And they're trying to help their players behind the scenes by giving them the best training staffs, by giving them the best offseason programs to work with. So I think we could all kind of feel for him.
This is what I'm saying, Diana. He's a star, and when he's sitting in their brown whirlpool because they're cheap, he's looking around like, this doesn't feel like stardom to me. This place is amateur, and it's been amateur long before I got there. Well, that's right, Mike. I made the water in the whirlpool brown.
How many times have you been there?
Yeah, Have you ever been to the Bengals facility?
Same thing, Jeremy. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, wait, like, has he been there?
How did I get it right then? How did I get it right?
Yeah, Jeremy.
I think you're just making
sorry. I thought that was Jeremy that said it.
assumptions on Mike Brown, which are fair, but I don't know how bad I've never seen it.
Well, Diana can speak to it.
How about this, Dan? I'm going to name a team, and you tell me what you think their facility would be based on your experience and what you know. Okay? So, the New York Giants.
I mean, is their facility in New Jersey? I think of everything in New Jersey as being browned.
Why do you have me on the show?
Brown whirlpool.
You have a very nice tan.
Look at her. I've hurt her feelings because she's New Jersey proud. Look at her. Look, I was born in Jersey City.
Here's the problem. It's all these people who think New Jersey is snooky. Like, and by the way, Snooki's been great for us. She gets such a tough, rap. Like, she's been great. She's embraced what we are. She's like, this is who I am. Not a lot of people are like that. Maybe I should be JWoww.
The thing I was saying yesterday is that the football of Sunday, everybody was talking about Bills and Patriots when there were two better teams, I thought, playing in Rams and Lions. So Vrabel comes out after the game and says that was a learning experience. What the hell did they learn?
By the way, the Giants facility is lovely. The New England Patriots facility is okay. They're getting a new one.
Top 5 and bottom 5?
They'd probably be bottom 5 now because they're remodeling. By the way, that doesn't look great for the Giants facility. It's better inside. It's nice. They've got a great
cafeteria. Like an elementary school.
It's newer. The Jets one is unbelievable. That's a really nice one. Look, I think New England has very good self-awareness, which is why this entire season you never heard them saying the way teams like the Broncos, for example, have said, like, we're going to the Super Bowl. What New England has done, I think, has maybe even surprised some of them. I don't think they expected to be this good so quickly. So when you hear the team, even Stephon Diggs talking about it post-game, like, this was good for us. Losing's never good. Nobody wants to lose, right? Especially guys as competitive as that group. But I think it magnifies the mistakes, the errors, and the weaknesses that have been covered up a lot by really good quarterback play. So what do we see against the Bills? We saw a defense that doesn't pressure very well. We saw a quarterback that didn't play very well. We saw the other quarterback come in and play like the MVP. And I think it was a nice reset of, okay, this is where we are not very good, and we need to fix it now if we want to actually make a deep run in the playoffs here. Because so far we've been good. We've won, 11 straight, 10 straight. But I think for New England, first of all, for Mike Vrabel, he doesn't want to be the lead dog. That's not his personality. He likes being the underdog. Remember with that Titans team when they went to the AFC Championship game and they knocked out the Patriots and Tom Brady at Gillette? They love being underestimated. So I actually think that's probably what he means. Like, he prefers to be coming from behind.
She will be part of Netflix's NFL Christmas Day doubleheader. How is your husband dealing with the fact that he's throwing the Christmas party and you're not going to be there? Is he equipped to do all of this? Is he fine?
Oh, yeah, he's great. Eagles aren't playing that day, so that's good. It's my family that has the issue with it. They think it's weird. Like, Greg, do you think it's weird that my husband is hosting 25 people on Christmas Day in our home and I'm not here?
Being honest, absolutely, because I would be terrified. If it were my situation, I lean so heavily on my wife.
Lean back.
To do everything, to organize everything, to be the glue of everything, that I would be absolutely
To do
terrified.
everything competently because you're a toddler.
Pretty much, yeah. So
Yeah.
God bless your husband, man. I couldn't do that. No, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Sound weird.
being honest.
Yeah, no, I think it's, look, put it this way. My siblings have yet to say, like, this is really nice. Like, please tell Kevin thank you. And, we're grateful. Let us know how we can help. No one has said that. I have like a sibling group chat that the partners are not on. And they're all in there like, or my siblings are like, this is weird. We don't want to come over. You're not there.
It is weird.
Why is he hosting? And what they don't understand and why I need their help here is I am trying to distract Kevin from the fact that I am not going to be there for Christmas and we have a family. That I am choosing football over that. And my siblings are they're not doing their jobs right now. They're exposing me by repeatedly being like, this is strange. Why don't we just go to a restaurant or, one of them host it? So Kevin can do it. I'm not worried about it. I just don't know how this is going to shake out when I get back.
Have you caught up on your Marcus Freeman reporting? I know that Mike has been doing a good amount of reporting about Marcus Freeman, and I was mentioning yesterday that outside of winning a championship, nothing could have happened better for Marcus Freeman's agent than what did happen to Notre Dame. Because now
true.
Now he doesn't have to prove anything the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's early. I think there's interest. Mike, I didn't know you were or is Mike even in today? I don't know if he's in.
He's an insider, Diana. He's an insider.
Mike, if you want to do this, you got to do it every day. That's the key here. You can't just swoop in. It's got to be the everyday grind. Like
Dude,
right
just
now,
kind of
like
swoop in.
yeah, I'm actually projecting. I am very jealous that you can just swoop in and be like, "Hey, I got a huge story," and you're right. We'll see. I think the New York Giants are definitely serious about interviewing him and meeting with him and seeing if he's a true, real candidate for them as they're putting together their list at the moment. And I think there's going to be other teams. I think there's going to be other NFL teams who have their eye and are watching to see how it plays out. Teams that even have a coach right now.
An early and premature Merry Christmas, because I don't think we're going to see you again before you do that Netflix game. Thank you for the year. It has been delightful to watch and listen to you. Senior NFL insider for The Athletic and the host of the Scoop City podcast. Nice seeing you. Thank you for putting on that birthday hat for me as well. I do appreciate it.
Happy birthday. If there's one thing that I would love to give you, we've talked about Mikey and Joey on the show a lot. For your birthday, I would like to hand them over to you for a weekend. I think it'd be good for you.
Oh, I would.
To who? To Dan?
To Dan?
Yeah, it would be good for Dan.
I'm good
No.
with kids.
He picks them up and puts them upside down.
Dan, let's be honest.
I'm good with kids. I'm good at renting, not owning. I give them back. Thank you.
Put them outside.
Thank you, Diana. I appreciate it. We appreciate it, I would say.
Can I admit something? I was trying to feed Diana that Marcus Freeman story a week early to totally derail Notre Dame's college football playoff chances. No, this is another thing that the committee has to take into account.
Did she ignore you? Because
No, she just had to do her own reporting. That's how, and she did. And a week later, the Marcus Freeman thing happened. And thankfully, Notre Dame didn't make the CFP. But that was absolutely me trying to sabotage Notre Dame's chances, because I could say something and it doesn't really carry the weight that it does with Diana. She's reputable, even though I broke a lot of stories in my day.
Well, she just said you can't swoop in and out,
That's
and
my thing.
you actually rebutted what she was saying by saying, "But I can, I have."
That's kind of my whole deal.
I do. I just sweep in and out as an insider, and then get out and don't actually have to do the daily grunt work. I wanted to circle back around on what happened at the Heisman around the Heisman weekend, because among the greatest controversies, it's silly to think about now, but among the greatest controversies that I've seen that are Heisman related around the ceremony is that one year Randy Moss showed up at the Heisman ceremony and dared to wear sunglasses indoors. This is a stuffy downtown athletic club. Everything around what they do there is from a different time.
That's also from a different time. Like they have you seen the stage? The production value on this thing's incredible. It looks like it's Star Wars now.
It is a great. Well, I drove by the downtown athletic club. It's an old, musty thing. It's been modernized, yes, but the ceremony itself, the idea of Saturday night TV show to name at a banquet type proceeding the best player in what used to be amateurism, it doesn't come with a great many controversies, but it is stuffier when it comes to sort of how we represent sportsmanship than most of the sports institutions we have remaining. To see Diego Pavia behave that way around that weekend was a punkishness that you just don't see around what it is that thing is supposed to be. It's not just what he said about the voters. It's not just that he was at a nightclub rolling with his friends and saying, bleep the voters.
The last time the Heisman was handed out at the Downtown Athletic Club was 25 years ago.
Oh, so I drove past the Downtown Athletic Club and Ricky was there, and so I assumed that's where it was. Where is it now?
Maybe that's where it's housed, but like the ceremony, like for television, been 2.5 decades since they've done that on TV.
Did you guys know that? I didn't know that.
I think it initially changed. Might have been like around 9/11, and then they just found a better place.
Yeah, when you said the Downtown Athletic Club, it's a fairly small
Yes, it's
facility.
tiny. Yes.
And so I was thinking to myself, do they still do it there? Like, that didn't sound right to me.
Speaking to the mic.
It's not right.
But I didn't know it had been 25 years.
Speaking of 25 years, I just saw on the television here, parenthetically, they put on the scroll, they said Dolphins eliminated from the playoffs, and then in the parentheses, and these parentheses hurt, haven't won a playoff game since 2000.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Longest streak in the NFL.
Mark Smith game.
I was there.
The way Pavia behaved around the weekend, that he has since apologized for, saying that, look at what he's saying.
Apologized for. He wrote a book.
Yeah, he did, but he apologized for wanting to win everything, coming in second place, and then being a poor sport. You hammered him pretty good yesterday.
Well, first of all, his agent did a good job writing that for him. Classless, clueless, somebody before, knowing his personality, somebody beforehand, his coach, his agent, his parent, should have said to him, tone it down, okay? Tone it down. Be classy. Don't be the person that you've been off the field and even on the field. Don't be that guy. Be a little bit different right now because everybody's watching you. And he just embarrassed himself in his school. You rarely see that kind of behavior, that classlessness on a stage that big.
I think he might have gotten support if it just ended at bleep the voters. People could just kind of say, I guess that's Diego Pavia, and the media is not very well liked. Even though those voters did make you a Heisman runner-up, it is an honor to go to that ceremony. It's a whole week dedicated to you. It's a really cool thing. You're surrounded by some of the all-time greats.
Right.
Some people would be grateful for that. But then to go to the club and have a bottle sign come out that says bleep Indiana and take what seems like a personal shot at Mendoza that way is also really poor form. Again, you're with these guys for several days doing media together, and then Mendoza beats you out, and your very first reaction is bleep that guy. Like that's not cool. And when you juxtapose that with how classy Mendoza came off in his speech, it just solidifies to every voter that took part in that process. Like, I guess we made the right call there.
And wasn't there anybody in his circle telling him, no, you know
Clearly
what?
no.
Don't put up
Theo
that
Vaughn.
I mean, don't
You
put
got-
up that
you got Theo
sign.
Vaughn.
I mean,
Don't
to your
say that.
point, Dad, they clearly got to him. He put out that statement. Like, they got to
Well,
him.
let me read it.
eventually,
let
after the
me
fact.
read the statement here and see if we bring in professional sincerity questioner Zaslow in to have an opinion on what he wrote on X. Being a part of the Heisman ceremony last night as a finalist was such an honor. As a competitor, just like in everything I do, I wanted to win. To be so close to my dream and come up short was painful. I didn't handle those emotions well at all and did not represent myself the way I wanted to. I have much love and respect for the Heisman voters and the selection process, and I apologize for being disrespectful. It was a mistake, and I'm sorry. Fernando Mendoza is an elite competitor and a deserving winner of the award. I have nothing but respect for his accomplishments as well as the success that Jeremiah and Julian had this season. I've been doubted my whole life. Every step of my journey, I've had to break down doors and fight for myself because I've learned that nothing would be handed to me. My family has always been in my corner, and my teammates, coaches, and staff have my six.
That's his back.
Yeah. There's no question mark there for the audio listeners.
Okay,
Have
because
my
the
what?
six
You never
is
heard
on
"Have
the-
My Six," Dan?
No, I have not
I
heard
haven't
that.
You've never heard you got my six?
It's all right. Just keep it moving.
What does that mean?
I love them. I am grateful for them, and I wouldn't want anything to distract from that. I'm actually distracted by the last two words in this statement. I look forward to competing in front of my family and with my team one more time in the Relia Quest Bowl.
Military term.
Yeah, watch your back.
How about
Relia-
that? Playing in
Relia
the bowl, huh?
Watch your back. Jack.
Just
Watch my
remember,
six.
remember what Travis Hunter's girlfriend got during the last Heisman ceremony? She wasn't a finalist. She wasn't a Heisman runner-up. Keep the same energy because it was pretty embarrassing behavior. And that statement kind of lends itself to him kind of feeling it a little bit because it was an embarrassing way to go about it.
Yeah, he's doing some making up now and some repairing of the bridges he's burning and all, but he's forever going to be the guy who put the ass in class. Like, you can't say what he said and do what he said and then just say, oh, no, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. What a deserving winner. Nope, too late.
Well, see that's the part that I want to come in because I don't buy the whole, that wasn't me. That's not the kind of person I am. Like that was what Dan just read. And that's bull because his entire night, like it wasn't a moment of, oh, I shouldn't have said that, I shouldn't have done. Like for instance, Bijan Robinson. Remember on Thursday night he was on the set with the Prime game, and he said, tackle the bad word, and people got offended. And it's like that's a moment where it's like, I shouldn't have said that. That was kind of stupid. That's not who I am. Okay, Diego Pavia spent the entire night showing everyone, no, this is what I am. This is what I do. His entire night was geared around being an ass.
Put it on the poll. Did Diego Pavia, as Cody alleged, forever put the ass in class? I'm curious about this. If Indiana had simply lost to Ohio State by 3 points, is Pavia the Heisman Trophy winner?
I'd suggest that winning the Big Ten greatly helped his odds. I think he was minus 130 headed into that, and by the end of the game, he was minus 1,000.
Yeah, it felt like that game was
totally.
for the Heisman.
Yep.
Those Mendoza are saying.
That's pretty interesting, though, when you think about the fact that while the quarterback did sort of win that game, it wasn't exactly offense that won that game. So it's basically we're giving him the trophy. Hey, your team went undefeated. We can't explain it. Here, you have it. And he had 22 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the red zone. So.
I mean, all the great arguments, even though Pavia was more dynamic offensively and that team depended more on him. Yeah. Look, Indiana was in the playoff last year. But I know it's impressive to say, look what he did with Vanderbilt. I know, like I said, they made the CFP last year, but Mendoza did this with Indiana. Mendoza won. He won the Big Ten.
Number one team in the country.
They're undefeated. He won at Eugene. And he had moments on television with Gus Johnson having an aneurysm on the air.
Terrible call.
Una embolia.
He had moments. Pavia, it was more like a season-long thing, an accumulation. Like, he didn't have these signature moments. Like, his best wins against Mizzou, and LSU was ranked at the time. But, like, Tennessee and Mizzou, we already poked a bunch of holes in their resumes. They didn't beat combined a team over 500 in the FBS.
I do.
Or a team with a win over a 500 team in the FBS.
Dan, you never heard the six, huh? You never heard it, got my 6? So in military terms, you think about your body as the clock, right? So you're looking ahead, that's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, right directly, next to you. 6 behind you, 9 to the left, and then 11 o'clock. So that's why when you're looking at something, hey, 11 o'clock over here, took a look. And then you look at 11 o'clock, bam, it's right there. Like I'm looking at Roy, 11 o'clock for me.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever heard of the back being referred to as your 6?
Just always hated when people say that. Oh, you see that person over here? 12, I know 12 o'clock.
What person?
12 o'clock's always easy, but after that, it's like, get out of here with that.
You don't know the clock?
Don't tell me 2:30, okay?
No one says there's someone out my 2:30.
Nah, people have said it to me.
Yeah, they do that.
Yep.
Yeah, when there's
Thanks,
a
Greg.
horizon involved in particular. Like if you're out on a boat and I say, look at that guy at
No one does
115
that.
over there.
Horizon.
I'm like 13.
Look, there's a trout at my 5:37.
Zero interest in the microphone today for whatever
What are you
reason.
talking about? I'm eating the
Now
microphone.
you are.
What are you talking about?
There are a number of things that, as I celebrate aging today, a number of things that I've brought up here as things that are going to disappear or have disappeared. Cash is something that is disappearing. People are using cards more. I would say cursive handwriting is gone.
Pointless.
But the ability to tell time, is that now gone? Like
Torched, Dan.
to look at a clock, a young person looking at a clock.
Really?
It's always digital now, correct? Like
Yeah.
we are raising a generation of kids who will not know how to tell time.
My daughter
correct?
has an old-fashioned clock in her, so my daughter's teacher is teaching them the old-fashioned
That's
way.
great.
Yeah, Claire's teacher is also teaching. Like they have the analog clock on a worksheet, and that's how they figure out how to.
But that's going to be like cursive was for like me at my age, where it's like I learned it in the 3rd grade.
Right, they're not going to use it.
Yeah, by like 6th or 7th grade, it was done. Like once you get to middle school and they're no longer teaching you how to read that, like you will never have to use it ever again.
Dan, you know about that military time?
Yeah,
No, that's a different clock,
no,
Dan.
no,
It's a
Military
different thing.
time
No,
and having your
that's
6 is a totally
military
different thing.
jargon
2400
versus
hours.
Military
Yeah.
time.
Yes, I know military time. What does it have to do with what we're talking
Military time's
about?
tough, not going to lie.
What is military time, Dan?
It's 1,200 hours, 1,300 hours, 1,400 hours. It's what?
1623 is what time?
1 o'clock is 1,300 hours.
1623 is what time?
1 p.m. 1623 is 4:23 p.m.
Okay.
Flexing
Wow.
on
Oh,
us.
yeah.
This
job,
guy,
Dan.
this
Good
guy,
job, Dan.
he
Happy
will take a
birthday,
quiz.
Dan.
This guy can do math. He will take a quiz.
But
Like
you
a
notice
couple people I know.
He did the move where like he said it out loud so we could have more time to think.
Yeah.
That's a move.
And with a bored sound in his
What
voice. Like, I don't- come on. I know.
423.
He didn't know.
He did. He said it.
Here, somebody fed him the info. Come on. We all know it.
You got Lewis doing math back there?
I think
Wow,
so.
shot at Lewis there.
Do you have
Not
sparkles?
a shot at Lewis.
Sparkles on your face? Where did you get sparkles on your face from? You have under your
Baby.
lip some sparkles.
I know where you can get sparkles on your face.
Where did that
I have
happen?
no
I gotta
idea
do that
what
to
you're
my
talking
man.
about.
So you guys are telling me that
don't do
kids
that.
today, if I put a clock in front of them, the majority of kids will or won't know. If I go under 10 years old and I put a clock in a 9-year-old kid and I put a clock in front of a 9-year-old kid, the majority do or don't know how to tell time on something that's not a digital clock. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Average 9-year-old kid can or can't tell time without the help of a digital aid.
2008 is what time?
It's 8:08 p.m.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we're going to keep doing this?
Yeah,
You're going to
good
keep
guess.
questioning me on
2009.
Yeah, you stumped me on that one. That one's too hard. Can you explain whether you have any shame whatsoever about the fact that everyone has to keep telling you to talk into the microphone as a professional broadcaster?
You know what?
professional,
I'm a
loosely.
casual man, Dan. I'm a casual man. You know, when in my real life, when I'm speaking to somebody, I'm not used to like leaning in and emphasizing my point. I'm a laid back guy. I'm going like this. You know, well, what do you think? I'm having a convo
We're on
here.
a show.
I'm having a conversation here. Okay, I'm welcoming the listeners into my circle, my
But Greg,
domain.
you can lean back and then just take the mic with you.
I know, but like you can hear me right now.
Not really.
Now
No.
pull it a little
Much
closer
less
to you.
quality.
How about right now? That kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
What?
Okay.
You want to try
what-
to keep a uniform level for your listeners.
Okay, I'm wearing a uniform.
Greg, they fed you a line. You're not supposed to say yes and then not give us the line. Like
Professional.
somebody. Oh,
That's
fuck.
a good point.
Welcome to another episode of Insights to Mediocrity. I'm Jeremy Taché here with our expert, our superstar, Tony Kaladiu.
Good to be here, Jeremy.
What do you think about the salaries of today's NBA? Given the salary cap, the collective bargaining agreement, how do you feel about the way that salaries have exploded for the max player in the NBA?
I love it. Go get your money, right? Like when we were growing up, it felt like guys were making all these millions of dollars, but it didn't really feel like, oh, wow, it's this level. But now you see the SGAs of the world. You see the Jason Tatums, the Jaylen Browns of the world, where they're making $280 and some change, $300 million. And you're like, okay, perfect. Selfishly, it's like, hey, could I have hung around somewhere and made a couple of scratch here and there? Like, I felt like I should have and could have and possibly would have if it weren't for a couple injuries and a couple of politics. I think it was the politics more than anything than the injuries.
Of course.
Because I was also in this weird transition of time between I was a little too small and slow to be a big, and then I wasn't fast enough to be a guard. So I was in
Derek
this
Williams,
tweener.
if you will. A tweener, a Michael Beasley of your day. That's what they say. You know, he was a bucket, and 10-Day Tony, he's a bucket.
Thank you.
Of course. Do you ever feel sorry for your opponent?
No, because it's a mutual respect. They know what we're going into. We're gladiators. We're getting onto the floor. The times where I come home and my ankle hurts and my daughter's crying at 3 a.m. and I have to get up and change her diaper and my ankle's hurting, that's not something that I get, money for.
It's a sacrifice people
It's
don't see behind the
Thank
scenes,
you.
right?
Thank you. So I'm going in with the appreciation and the gratitude of the man across from me, knowing that he's got work tomorrow too. He's got to go home with a bad hamstring and then work an office job that he hates. So I put the respect on the game for my fellow man across from me, saying, I know what you pay to be here. You know what I pay to be here. Let's have some fun. So I don't feel bad for my opponents ever. I respect my opponents.
Too long. The Steelers have won 8+ games, 22 straight seasons, and I legitimately think that one of the most amazing stats in sports is that since the merger, the Steelers have had 3 coaches. Since 1969, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had 3 coaches. The Phoenix Suns have had that in the last 24 months. It's just nuts when you think of the consistency of that franchise. We were talking earlier, this is partly because the Browns and Bengals are so cheap, that you've been able to play in a division where you're stable and nothing around you is stable, so you get to win it all the time. But are you guys numb to the fact that the Steelers in 50 years have had 3 coaches?
I suppose. I mean, it's not like they're any kind of threat. They're not going to do anything. Like, they're probably going to win the division because they're 1 up with 3 to play, and they played the Ravens the final game of the season, which will probably be for the division. Steelers already beat them earlier in the year, but no one's afraid of this Steeler team. I don't know. They kind of feel like a nothing.
But wait a minute, though. Okay, if the standard is you win the championship or you're irrelevant, yes. If second place is just the first loser, yes. But, man, you are hardened and cynical if I'm giving you 22 straight seasons of 8+ wins, and I just told you 3 coaches since 1969. That's crazy stability.
Tomlin and Cowher have never lost a home Monday night game.
Yeah, no, that's the streak that's crazy. 23 in a row, I think it is now.
Mine wasn't. My 3 coaches since 1969 is not crazy. Yours is crazy.
No, it's less surprising because we sort of knew that, I mean, come on. But
when's the last time someone mentioned Chuck Noll? Like,
Yeah, that's Tannehill's a receiver.
But Dan,
no, Chuck Noll, that's back in the Shula era. I mean,
Stay
everybody
in
knows
front
that.
of the microphone,
Okay,
Greg.
no,
Please,
I'm right in front of the
dear
mic.
God.
But here's the point. The standard in Pittsburgh is so high that for the first time a couple of weeks ago, Tomlin is all of a sudden getting you're distracting me. Tomlin,
I'm just trying to put the microphone closer to your mouth.
Tomlin all of a sudden is getting hectored. He's like, people want his job, okay? And so it's been a minute since he's won a playoff game. Like he didn't. His Teflon is wearing.
The Dolphins haven't won one since 2000. Give me all the Dolphin
That's the
coaches.
anomaly, though. That's
give me all the coaches the Dolphins have had just since 2000, please. Give me the names and just give me
Interims too?
the list of all the coaches.
I was a
the,
big Jim Bates guy.
the Dolphins have
You
had
do like who
since
didn't start the
2000.
fire?
Cam
Sperano, Dan Campbell, Ken Cameron, Saban, Adam Gase.
You guys are awfully hard,
That's my
though,
gimmick.
if you're not impressed by stability. Like, the noise is so loud around all of the pressure in football. For you to shrug your shoulders at they always have winning seasons as if it doesn't matter, like, okay.
It matters, but look where they're at right now. And Zaz is right. They're not a threat to win a Super
They haven't been a
Bowl.
threat for at least 10 years.
And they're recycling a 42-year-old quarterback. I mean,
Everyone in the
what's
AC,
next?
everyone in the AFC wants to play Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
yeah, that's right.
Yes, I agree.
Starting in 2000, Wanstead, Jim Bates, Nick Saban, Cam Cameron, Tony Sperano, Todd Bowles, Joe Philbin, Dan Campbell,
Todd
Adam
Bowles.
Gase, Brian Flores, Mike McDaniel.
Philbin.
Bulls.
I do think that we're a bit unreasonable if you're not impressed by what Mike Tomlin has done in Pittsburgh with an assortment of different pieces. Like it's not just getting to have Tom Brady the entire time. I mean, he had Roethlisberger, but it's not what Mahomes. I understand that Mahomes and Brady are the standard, but you're basically saying that Baltimore also hasn't done a lot of winning. Baltimore hasn't done a lot of winning of the championship, but represent one of the most stable franchises that I've seen across sports over the last 25 years.
They won the Super Bowl at least like 10 years ago, right? It's not that long ago.
I think both these franchises have new coaches next season.
I agree.
You think that John Harbaugh is going to be out in Baltimore?
I think there's a better chance Harbaugh's out than Tomlin.
I hear things.
It'll both be mutual though. Like neither of them will be fired. It'll be they've parted ways.
You guys think, John? I have not. Tomlin, I've heard hot seat about. I have not heard it about Harbaugh.
Do you remember
If he goes to the pros.
Do you remember before Lamar Jackson had started?
What do you mean if he goes to the pros?
If he goes to another team, I meant. In other words, he's not going. I don't think he's going to college football. I think he's.
People forget, like the Ravens and John Harbaugh did part ways. Like it was announced that they were going to separate at the end of the season, and then Lamar Jackson started playing really well.
I don't remember that.
Look it up. It was understood.
I believe you.
Yeah, it was
a Greg Cody
understood.
move.
John Harbaugh and the Ravens were going to part ways, and then Lamar Jackson caught lightning in a bottle, and they decided, hey, you know what? We'll run it back.
I believe that Mike Ryan was just fully ignoring you. That you said in the pros, and nobody understood what you meant, and then you doubled down with if he doesnn't go to college, which I don't think anybody's talking about.
John Harbaugh takes a job in the pros.
And Mike just ignored you.
Okay,
he ignored you the way you
Being
would
a good teammate.
There's a lot of Michigan people suggesting, hey, hire John Harbaugh.
The point is, if John Harbaugh leaves Baltimore, there's a million other. Not a million.
He'll be for the NFL.
Yes, there's plenty of other jobs for him.
Same as Tomlin.
Same as Tomlin. Right. Those guys, they're
If they
great.
decide to take jobs in the NFL, could get them.
But I will say this about Tomlin. Let's not overestimate him. In almost 20 years in Pittsburgh, he's won one Super Bowl. You got to win more than one if you're going to rise to that level of elite
Greg,
all-time coach.
he's never had a losing season in
get
Pittsburgh.
That. Yeah, I get that.
Cowher only got one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
do you,
right.
for my birthday, do you have a back in my day?
No, hell no.
Wow. That was blunt.
Why
It was
why is it hell?
More blunt than usual.
I mean,
He's become defiant with this.
Well-
He's like he's dug his flag into I can't do him anymore, and he's just not going to change.
I'm trying to,
That's
in a nice way, give you the idea that maybe that bit has been retired, but yet every Tuesday you bring it up again, so it's getting a little frustrating, a
lot
little
of
nerve-wracking.
change around the show. It'd be really nice to have that nostalgia trip of back in my day. Nice little thread, legacy thread.
Legacy thread.
It is Tuesday. You didn't say it was retired. You just kept saying, well, it's not Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. And now it's
that's a
Tuesday.
joke. Yeah, that's a joke. The it isn't Tuesday thing. It may make a comeback. You don't know. That's the beauty of life. You don't know.
What time is 22:11?
Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time
That's not a
app.
military time. 20 to 11 is 20 to 11.
No, 22:11.
Oh, 22:11. I thought you were saying, I didn't think you were saying 10, 11
I didn't
p.m.
realize that military time could get complicated.
I thought you were saying that it was 20 minutes to 11. You were
10,
saying,
10,
I
Mike.
was
40
saying,
is
if you
the
want to
answer.
watch one of these final games with Mike Tomlin's Steelers or John Harbaugh's Ravens, you might want to download the Game Time app because it takes the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets. Download that app. Redeem code DAN after you create an account and you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today.
So you don't know.
22:11 is it is 10:11 p.m.
Okay.
Are you going to keep doing that, though? Military
Maybe.
time? I want to know if the audience is with me on having heard it. Everyone here had heard having my back, having my six. That's an expression all of you had heard before. I was alone.
No, I hadn't heard it.
Where is the Heisman Trophy now? Where does the ceremony, where does it take place now?
Lincoln Plaza or something like that. Like it's a very impressive looking soundstage with that huge Heisman Trophy there. It looks great on television.
It's not Radio City?
I know you guys haven't watched it in 20 years, but it looks really impressive lately.
Chris, can you get me the sound, please, from the Anthony Joshua Jake Paul press conference? Has Jake Paul been more respectful this time than he usually is in the talking and the sales on the way to the fight? Because this is by leaps and bounds. I mean, there is a gulf of difference between everyone he's been fighting and the fight that he is now entering, because Anthony Joshua is a legitimate heavyweight. He's at something close to his prime, and they are talking up the fight to sell it because it's across the street this weekend, correct? It's this weekend across the street here, and I'm surprised that this has gotten to the date where it is. They are indeed going to do this fight. It doesn't appear like there's going to be a cancellation. I'm really stunned that Jake Paul is fighting this human being, because this is a legitimate heavyweight contender, champion contender. Let me hear what the back and forth is here between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul.
I've just seen in fights when I can see someone's, let's call it energy, frequency leaving their body. And that's what my goal is to do the same to you. You have that instinct. You can see it. When you're fighting, you can just see a small glimmer of someone that's just about to start fading. And then you just keep exploiting that until some people give up. Some people get knocked out. We'll figure out. But as I said, for me, it's not just going in there and being dominating physically. I want to break him down spiritually and mentally.
That's some deep boxing you just broke down.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, because it's funny because the pressure's on you. And like when I win the first round and the second round, and I think it's going to be you that starts to crumble because all the pressure's on you. I'm fighting free. There's no weight on my shoulders. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to prove anything. You have so much to prove. The whole boxing world's like, oh, here's 2 rounds or AJ sucks. The pressure's on you, brother.
You know what it is?
I'm free. Like I already took over this whole game, did everything I want. I'm playing on house money, so I think it's gonna be you that starts to be like, oh, one round, two round, 3 round, and then
I live up to the expectation.
That's not exactly Jake Paul trash talking.
No, that's him kind of respecting him. And Jake Paul is right, but the part he's overlooking is how difficult it is to win those first and second rounds.
He sounded like Pat Narduzzi before Notre Dame. I'm going to go ahead and lay some more on Anthony.
I mean, how big a favorite is he? What are the betting odds on this fight? Because when I tell you that I'm legitimately stunned that all of this is happening, I just thought it was going to be circus sideshow and novelty and freak fights the rest of the way. This started with him fighting Nate Robinson, didn't it? Isn't that where it started, with him fighting a 5'9" basketball player?
According to DraftKings, Joshua minus 1,200, Jake Paul plus 700.
If he were to beat Anthony Joshua, I'd put it with the biggest upsets all time in sports. All time. I don't think that the people who have been following Jake Paul's career really have paid attention or know the the mechanics of boxing, how lame all of his opponents have been compared to this opponent. I believe those numbers are too small. I believe even while saying that a heavyweight of any kind always has a puncher's chance, I believe those odds should be 3 and 4 times as large as they are. I don't understand. It must be people thinking that the thing is rigged, because anyone who knows anything about boxing would tell you that this is not a fight that Jake Paul has any kind of chance of winning. That Jake Paul comparatively is an amateur and is an amateur with far less punching power.
And I think this is kind of what Ariel alluded to a couple weeks ago. Like, if Jake Paul competes, everyone's just going to think it's fixed, right? Like, can Jake Paul leave this fight and people legitimately think it's legit?
I really don't understand the fixing accusations.
Of just
it's
not
in boxing?
It's not
People
wrestling.
go to prison.
But people said that, like, with Mike Tyson, that Mike Tyson fight, like, he could have knocked him out, but he chose not to. Like,
people would go to prison, so everyone's
get pardoned immediately.
They're just making a pact where, all right, we won't say anything. It'll be our secret.
I'm with you. They probably aren't doing that. But a lot of the internet thinks if Jake Paul does anything but get knocked out here, the internet narrative is going to be the fix is in.
I don't think anyone's risking going to federal prison.
When you watch the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight, it's one of the biggest pay-per-views that there's been in boxing over the last 25 years. Could you tell that Mayweather was carrying McGregor around? You will know whether or not any of this is legitimate or whether there have been whispered agreements in the first couple of rounds. If Joshua's afraid of him, if he's not charging, if he's not throwing punches because he's so much bigger, stronger, and has such an incredible reach advantage over Jake Paul.
There's a difference, though, between Floyd Mayweather deciding, okay, I'm going to carry Conor McGregor, and people getting together before a fight and deciding the way shit's going to go down. Okay,
but we had one of the biggest pay-per-views ever was a sham because Mayweather was indeed carrying McGregor around. He's a defensive fighter. This is different, right? Because Joshua is an attacker. Joshua can also have a reach advantage over everyone he's fighting against and keep them at bay. But there will be no absence of punches thrown by Joshua unless there's an agreement.
You're also acting like there's just 2 bets to make in a boxing match. Several different ways to rig it.
We have total rounds. Over 2.5 is minus 135. Under 2.5 plus 100. I don't hate under. Get a little plus juice.
People will be tuning in to watch him be knocked out, right?
Yes, I hope so.
That Floyd Mayweather made great money for a very long time and is one of the great marketers of all time because people would tune in to watch him get knocked out and then nobody knocked him out. Like the way that he fought might have been aesthetically boring to some of you, but it is the point of fighting. Don't get hit. Hit and don't get hit, and that is what Floyd Mayweather mastered. He mastered the not getting hit part.
Well, Jake Paul has mastered the idea of developing this unlikable persona. At least that's the way I interpret it. And so I would pay big pay-per-view money to watch Jake Paul get his comeuppance.
What's big money?
What's a pay-per-view now?
You say that
$90.
Is it $100?
You say that while I guarantee you won't watch it.
I might.
Friday.
I might. When is it?
Friday.
I'm there.
I have a hard.
It's here.
Chicken thigh.
No, I'm not.
Let's
there.
get him. We'll get you a credential. Should we get him a credential?
I'm not literally there.
You'll get lost on the way to the studio. You don't know how to do it. You know Crimson Diamond, you can't be a chicken if everyone else is a chicken. That's not what you're doing. That's not the way any of that works.
Sorry. I love being a chicken. No, in this, am I the? Everybody hates Jake Paul and wants him to lose.
I'm rooting for him. No, I'm rooting for him. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing the upset.
No,
I don't
I'm rooting
hate
for him.
Jake Paul. I don't like him, but
Okay.
I wouldn't say I hate
Maybe
him.
I'm alone. I'm alone on a lot of things.
Go on,
Apparently.
name him.
You're lonely?
Tua and this.
Where is Tony setting up for his Tony's Top 5? Do we know the whereabouts of Tony? I want to get to some sound here that we have of Josh Hart before we go to Tony, of Josh Hart and a reporter teaming up on Jalen Brunson. The Knicks play for their first championship here tonight against the Spurs.
For the love of God.
Amin got it right when he said that OKC would not win the in-season tournament. You've got San Antonio playing the Knicks, and I believe over the last 25 years or so, the Knicks have over-celebrated winning a single game in the playoffs, winning a single round in the playoffs. This will be a point of pride for the New York Knicks to be able to beat San Antonio.
This is a funny clip from a press conference a couple days ago. This is a reporter asking Josh Hart about how unathletic and short Jalen Brunson is right in front of Jalen Brunson.
I'll ask you this because I think you would answer honestly. When you factor in his height and not the most athletic,
Jesus.
You've said it. You've said it.
You didn't have to say it, though.
How many guys in the NBA do you think score the basketball better than he does?
Probably not many. He's barely 6 foot guard.
This is your fault.
Not physically impressive. Not athletic, but he's able to manipulate. Defense. Obviously, big head, so he has a big brain. He's able to, figure out those angles and find himself in positions to be successful. So, inch for inch, I think he's probably the best one.
Those are legitimate friends, and you could see in the clip at the end that they're both holding their faces hidden behind their hands to keep from laughing, because Jalen Brunson the entire time sat there. You could see on his face, I'm sitting right here. You're talking about me as if I'm not right here. I'm sitting right next to you. The Knicks have their most beloved team since when? Because they didn't love the Carmelo Anthony teams. Like this is a team. The number of people I've heard say with Knicks fandom that they don't want to trade for Giannis because they've fallen in love with this team. And they want this team to win the championship when this team can't win the championship.
Yeah, I think probably the last team that went to the finals in '99. Sprewell, Marcus Camby, Larry Johnson. They definitely love those teams.
But wait a minute. Okay, look at what you said. Look at the names you just said. They may have loved that team. Nobody else loved that team. Latrell Sprewell and Larry Johnson. This team, a lot of people love because their best player is also the smallest player on the court every time he steps out there.
Yeah, they have a really lovable group. I mean, Zaz, you're talking about a time before the Dolphins won their last playoff game. That's how far back you have to go for a lovable Knicks team. But, Dan, I think you're right. Like, those Knicks fans, management should follow them. They should not offer anything for Giannis. Definitely. Make it good.
That's Chris just cutting you off, Jeremy. He didn't want to listen anymore.
You could have played Stop Talk.
I thought he was wrapping up. That one
You always think I'm
I
wrapping
didn't mean that one mean, honestly. Usually
Not this time.
Where is Tony? Where can we find Tony? I need video of Tony. Somebody show me video, please, of Tony, so I'm not just listening to him. Ooh, look at that. Oh, my God. The country at large is so jealous. Look at that. It's winter in South Florida. Tony's on the water, and it's 74 degrees.
That is not a green
there.
screen.
That is a real green, lovely water. I'm assuming there's not a sewage alert like there usually is around this time.
No sewage alert, Dano. The water I would actually characterize as emerald. I wouldn't say green. I would say emerald. A beautiful emerald water. We've got, obviously, the causeway going over here. We're actually on the bridge that goes to the port where you leave for the cruises. We've got Bayside and the pier over here with boats and stuff. So, yeah, this is not a green screen. This is the real deal. And if you want me to be really honest, guys, and this is just between me and you, and maybe you guys feel it too, it's kind of cold here in Miami today. It may be like 69, 70, 71, but there is a breeze. So I am a little bit cold. Estoy un poquito friolento because I can feel it. So I don't know if you guys feel it from over there, but I feel a little cold here.
Yeah, it's just like in Chicago off of the lake there where it's negative 20
Off
degrees.
the lake, yeah.
Just like that. Do you have any OLIs on your NFL weekend observations?
First, Dan, let me jump in and tell you Tony's Top 5 is presented by Smirnoff, the official vodka sponsor of the National Football League. Smirnoff, please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Vodka, 40% alcohol by volume.
Let's go, Tony. What do you got?
Couple OLIs will start first. 49ers frisky? Question mark? 49ers?
yeah,
Anybody? Can I sell you on the 49ers, please? Somebody?
Aren't they always frisky? Nobody's talking about the 49ers. Nobody.
Nobody's talking about him. Just keep an eye on him. All right, another OLI here. Have you seen Trey McBride's stats this season without Kyler Murray? Yep.
He's been
On
the best
Sunday, he
tight
had
end
12
in
catches
football.
for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns, giving him 105 catches for the season, 1,071 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He's the first tight end in NFL history with 100-plus catches, 1,000-plus yards, and 10-plus touchdowns through 14 games. How many games has Kyler Murray played this year? Not that many. I'm just going to keep it real. All right, and just going to leave this one here. Duval County stand up 10-4. The Jags are alive cats, baby.
Was that number 5 or was that an OLI?
No, that's number 5. Duval County stand up 10-4. Keep an eye on them, baby. We are rolling. 904 stand up. Number 4. The Bills said, not so fast, my friend. The Pats thought they had it in the bag. Okay, they thought it was over. Then the unicorn, what do you call him, Dan? A unicorn, a centaur of some sort? What is Josh Allen? What do you call him?
Yeah, he's a centaur. He's got the body of a horse and the upper body of Josh Allen.
Right, exactly. So he said, not so fast, my friends. We'll keep the division over on this side in Western New York. Number 3, I want you guys to put a pin in this matchup for a potential Super Bowl. Rams, Broncos. Just put a little pin in that. We'll go to it later on this season. I like those two teams to come out of their respective conferences. Put a pin in that.
Is that a good Super Bowl? Do you guys want to see the Broncos in the Super Bowl? Does anybody want to see Bo Nix in the Super Bowl?
You hate on Bo Nix. I mean, he played really well against the Packers.
A lot of wins for that guy.
They're beating good teams. I understand why, because he's looked really bad at times, but you are not high on them. It's
I
clear.
asked you a question, though. Do you guys want to see Denver in the Super Bowl?
No, I want to see the Bills.
Yeah.
It's the only team I want to see.
The Centaur. Josh Allen.
I'd rather see the Chargers.
Half horse, half man.
One
that guy
team I
knows
wanna
how to
see out
win.
of that
If the Broncos win out, Bo Nix will have the most wins for a quarterback through their first 2 seasons ever. Ever. Wow. He's presently tied with Big Ben, Andrew Luck, and Dak
I
Prescott.
saw Sam Darnold win 14 games for Minnesota.
He's going to win a lot of games for Seattle, too. And you like them to potentially go to the Super Bowl.
Go ahead, Tone.
Number 2, Phillip Rivers turning back the clock on his 5-year NFL healthcare benefits. Because turning back the clock would have been 300 yards and a couple scores. This is turning back the clock on his 5-year NFL healthcare benefits.
He's got a lot of kids.
We're on to you, Phillip.
Yeah. Number
We're
1.
on to you. Number 1, Dan, in the biggest news of the NFL weekend and basically the NFL season, Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. All right, Dylan Raiola, I'm sorry, buddy. You know what you got to do. Them's the breaks, buddy.
What does he got to do?
You want to cosplay as Patrick Mahomes?
Cosplay.
You got to tear your ACL. Nothing I can do about it. You got to do it. Sorry.
Tony, thank you. It looks lovely out there. I'm sure that everyone that's watching this outside of Florida is jealous of what it is that you have surrounding you there. Thank you, sir.
Got to put on a hoodie out here.
Yeah, little nippy.
Nipply.
We didn't
Little
talk
nippy.
at all
Nipply.
about the Micah Parsons injury yesterday because it was the second of the most important injuries that happened over the weekend. Obviously, all things Mahomes engulf everything there. But the Packers are super fraudy this year. Like they
Weird.
seem like they're close, but they don't have the skill position help that Jordan Love needs. And Micah Parsons was a piece that was brought in order to win them the championship this year. It was a piece away, and they are not the same defense, same team, or same pass rush, obviously. I guess it's an obvious thing to say because I felt like you were laughing that Tony's top 5 has a lot of obvious stuff in it. That's kind of the bit. But Micah Parsons, it goes without saying, Micah Parsons is obviously important to their pass rush, but numerically and empirically, they become a very pedestrian pass rush when it's not him doing the pass rush.
Absolutely. And everybody's talking about New England, Buffalo, but for me, Green Bay and Denver was the sneaky game of the week because those are two teams that a lot is expected from, but they both have question marks. And Denver winning that game was indicative of that. Without Micah Parsons, their defense is not ordinary, but much less good. And I don't think Green Bay is a team you think about anymore for the Super Bowl.
I feel like Detroit is so much better than Green Bay.
I think so,
Yet
too.
they're 2 games behind them. Like, they're a really long shot to catch them. I feel like they're so much better than the Packers.
They've been really hurt, though. Their secondary, Detroit's secondary, can be scored on because of how hurt they are in the secondary. I find some of the analysis around football a bit frustrating for a couple of reasons. One, the schedule is not often taken into account when doing measurements on how good or how bad someone is. But also, whatever your assessments were in week 4 are rendered moot by week 13 just because there are so many people who are damaged. Like, it's just, it's damn near impossible for anybody to go through a season and be healthy. And when you look at what happened to the Detroit Lions in some of their games this year where they played poorly, they're really beat up. Like, their offensive line and their secondaries are hurt in a way that they're playing random people out there, people who shouldn't be on a football field.
As someone that just likes watching the NFL, don't have a team, I was so looking forward to the NFC playoffs in particular. Micah Parsons is super fun to watch. I love the way that Green Bay uses him. He's moved all across the line. He was an all-in move, and it was an all-in move that was paying dividends. You looked at Green Bay, it was Toyota-thon, and you had their guys coming back, Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. They were starting to look a certain way, and that kind of, it feels like it nukes their championship odds and makes some of those games a little less interesting.
Okay, you saw the game last night, okay? You saw what limited quarterbacks were doing in terms of accentuating tight ends. Aaron Rodgers was throwing to 3 of them. You just mentioned Trey McBride as well. The best help that Jordan Love had was Tucker Kraft. That was, and after that, it would have been Josh Jacobs. When these people
and Dobbs, ascending, but their two top targets were injured, Watson and Reed.
When these people end up getting hurt, and Watson wasn't, Watson's coming back, but Watson's like a third receiver.
Watson came back, looked great from that knee injury, avoided a major injury. I know he went down, but he seems to be good to go this week.
You can't keep having these kinds of people injured. When Greg Cody corrected himself and said they're not an ordinary defense without Micah Parsons, yeah, they are. They're an ordinary defense that no one actually fears because they can't get the pass rush without Micah Parsons that they can with Micah Parsons. They traded for him as a last piece on we're going to win the Super Bowl. And what can you do about Jacobs and Tucker Kraft being out? It's going to limit your offense in a way that makes you lose to Carolina and Cleveland because you've got a great quarterback. We know that that's a great quarterback, but you can't keep having guys hurt that are important and not see the quarterback play slip.
I would argue that even without Micah Parsons, Green Bay's a better defense than, for example, Detroit. That's all. I mean,
healthy Detroit, I just know that when we were early in the season and everyone was healthy, Detroit's the only team I've seen that could combat what Philadelphia was doing on the line of scrimmage, both offensive line and defensive line.
Like, I know it looks like Kansas City's missing the playoffs. Baltimore might miss the playoffs. To me, the one team it's going to be annoying that would miss the playoffs that I would have wanted to see is Detroit. Like, that's the most interesting team to me. Damn. Each of these seasons, I like Detroit being in the playoffs.
I get the storyline.
Yeah, I like their story.
You didn't want to see Mahomes try to do it on the road?
No, I don't care. No,
it's like it's an unfulfilling way for that whole thing to end. Yeah. I'd like to have seen Josh Allen try to smite them. I'd like to see a team take them out, a division team, and this is not satisfying.
When I give you guys these numbers, heading into Week 15, 320 players have suffered injuries severe enough to cost them multiple games. That means that the average football team, you guys tell me as I put this in front of you, okay, what your assessments would be Week 4 versus Week 14. The average football team is losing 10 players. 10 players to severe injuries. That's just your average football team. If I had to guess, Detroit's got more of that because the drop-off from Detroit, you could say, if you want to say it's Ben Johnson, I won't argue with you that much, but their secondary is ravaged. They've got a bunch of people out there playing when they're on their third or fourth guy in the secondary, and you're like, that's not a person who should be on an NFL field.
Not just that. The drop-off with Laporta and Ross Dwelly is cavernous.
What do you guys do with the analysis not mattering at all when you're making the analysis assuming a team is healthy and then it's unhealthy and we're not factoring in the unhealthy on Dan Campbell? What we're doing is, oh, look at Ben Johnson. Chicago's winning because they got 29 takeaways. They've got 29 takeaways, which I will continue to say is not recreatable. And the reason I say it's not recreatable, go look at what Denver did last year with turnovers, how good they were at turnovers, and how bad they are this year, even though they've got pass rush. They've got the best pass rush in the league, and they're not good somehow at turnovers this year as they were last year.
But they're better. Like, their defense is better even without forcing those turnovers because they can stifle an offense in a way that they don't need those turnovers. They can win the turnover battle because Bo Nix is not turning over the ball. He's, in terms of yards per attempt, I mean, not near the top echelon in terms of starters. He's only at 6.5 yards per attempt. But that's because Sean Payton has designed this offense to prevent turnovers because their defense can get after the quarterback in a way that's insane. Next Gen Stats had it. Broncos pressured Jordan Love on 52.2% of his dropbacks in Week 15. The highest pressure rate he's ever faced in any game of his career. They have a 40.5 pressure rate this season. That's crazy. That's historic level.
I understand why people doubt Bo Nix. I've seen it. There are games like the Raider game where you're like, does this guy suck? But then you look at what he's done over the last 2 years, and that would be somebody that we'd literally be catching our breath in terms of what an incredible start to a career. If you look at his numbers outside of yards per attempt, which isn't that far off, by the way, he's got Mahomes' numbers. Yeah. And yet everyone is doubting this guy.
I think part of that, though, is what Jeremy said. The defense is so good. If you told me it was going to be a Denver-Seattle Super Bowl, TV might hate that. America might hate that. It would be a great Super Bowl because those two defenses are elite. A lot of great defense in the NFL this season, which never gets enough attention because it's all about the quarterback. But great. Can you imagine a Denver-Seattle?
I don't want to imagine.
I do. I think it would be a great Super Bowl.
Going to be a great challenge to those defensive backs in Seattle because even with that yards per attempt being low, most touchdowns on 20-plus yard throws since 2024, it's Bo Nix with 18 of them. I don't know why we're not complimenting this guy more. Yeah, he's a winner. He could throw the ball. He could run. He's all the things Dan says Drake May is.
Stop talking.
Folks, listen up. Holiday basketball is here, and when stars like Kobe White, Jalen Williams, and Tyler Harris start cooking, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you want to be. DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Dan. That's code Dan. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We were talking a bit flippantly earlier about Tua and brain injuries and the way that he is most associated with the idea that we do not know just how much damage is done to the human brain playing football. Jackson Dart doesn't know why or how he ended up in the concussion protocol on Sunday, but he has now started 10 games and has 5 times where the concussions have knocked him out of games. His playing style is going to welcome violence. His recklessness, his athleticism, his size, not great. Not great size, not exactly Josh Allen the Centaur, not exactly Justin Herbert. And it wasn't that long ago that when Russell Wilson or Baker Mayfield were coming into the league, we were saying that's not enough size for that position. But we were doing it because the linemen and looking over the line was the problem. We weren't actually doing it because, their head's going to get batted around and there are all sorts of dangers out there. When I say Jackson Dart has played all of 10 games, and I've told you we've got at least 5 concussions that we know about, concussion protocol situations that we know about.
Okay, situations, not 5 confirmed
Okay.
concussions.
He did not
right?
get 5 confirmed
That
concussions.
seems crazy.
So
That would be crazy.
of the 10 games, he's got 5 times that he's gone to the blue medical tent to get selected to, concussion protocol, but he's also missed 2 games because of a concussion.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys watched Kenny Pickett at all last Sunday against Philadelphia, but that is offensive incompetence. And Kenny Pickett went through, while Tua was going through his stuff, Pickett was also getting an unusual number of concussions, but we skipped right past that because we didn't have the one game by itself on a prime time where you've got an arm spasming like it was a seizure and everyone worried about should Tua be out there. What do you do with what I just put in front of you as it relates to Jackson Dart, where he's woozy enough that he's getting sent to the tent and he's headed into a protocol while he's not missing 3 weeks like C.J. Stroud did? And while we don't know how this affects people while they're sleeping during the week, all of this stuff is kept quiet in terms of the details. I remember the first time. Do you remember the hit that Chris Chambers took against the Denver Broncos?
Kenoy Kennedy.
Going across the middle, where he ended up missing 6 weeks, and we don't talk about the details of what it looks like to be in the protocol. C.J. Stroud on a Tuesday of his 3rd week was being ruled out. That means he's failing the tests. If I put the details in front of you guys, do you imagine you'd be horrified by what the details were that the doctors are using to make someone fail a concussion protocol test?
Yeah.
Do you imagine that the details, because I remember the first time I was ever introduced to concussions at all, it was the old University of Miami defensive end Bill Hawkins, who said, it's the first time I ever had any inkling what football could do to the human head. Bill Hawkins was saying that he's on the field and he's pass rushing and he couldn't stop thinking about M&Ms, like that his brain was just scrambled. And all he was thinking about while he was running around out there was M&Ms. Troy Aikman, in the recent Netflix documentary about the Cowboys, says he played in an NFC championship game he does not remember. He doesn't remember any of the details. He played in the entire game. He won the game, I think. I think he won the game. I think he played well without remembering it. What do you guys do with the Jackson Dart information?
I mean, I don't know that there's anything to actually do with it. I think this is the game. And as long as he ends up passing concussion protocol, whenever it is, he's going to go out there and play again. Like, these guys chose this life. I don't think there's anything to actually do about it.
If we could predict a proneness to concussions, it would change everything about the way we draft and think of quarterbacks and other positions. Dolphins never would have drafted Tua. Giants never would have drafted Dart. I mean, you can't foresee it coming. Unless there's a history in college, you just can't foresee it coming, and it is absolutely frightening. And that's the hard part about how to even talk about it, is that we all know that the next serious concussion Tua gets is the end of his career. But yet we fault him when he's running for a first down and slides a yard short.
Shouldn't have slid. Got to dive forward there.
See, it's very difficult because we're playing both sides there. You know, he's playing for his future, his health, his kids' futures, and yet, you know, he can't be the player we want him to be. It's super frightening, the whole subject.
Greg, on the Tua situation, right? Like, did he have a documented concussion in college? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, that was not something that he came out into the league with.
It was the hip, it was the ankle, it was all those things. So, like, when you talk about injury prediction, obviously we don't have that, doesn't exist. But you would look at that and say, like, all right, his hip, his ankle, but not a concussion. Right. In the pros, he hasn't had any issues with his hip or his ankles.
Well, I think he hurt his hip last year.
The only predictive analysis you could do in terms of prone to concussions is size, and that's something that they'd take into account. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with the Jackson Dart thing, but I know what the Giants should probably do, change his playing style. He can play from the pocket. He has a decent arm. I don't know how dependent he is on his athleticism to make the arm work. I think he's pretty good throwing the football. I tell him to change his style, see if we can work on that. That is something that you can work on with players. And I evaluate the roster, and I maybe bring back Jameis Winston. I make sure that I have a good backup quarterback, because him being knocked out of games seems to be the thing. He's averaging a half a visit to a tenth a game.
I remember it stood out to me at the beginning of this college football season when they were talking about Arch Manning and the advice that he got from Archie Manning before the season started, before that game at Ohio State, because Archie Manning likes to run around, and the advice, it stuck with me, the advice that he gives him on the phone before they hang up, every phone call when they talk about football, before they hang up, Archie tells Arch, get down or get out of bounds. And that really stood out to me. That's what it is with these guys. Get down or get out of bounds.
Brandon Marshall is going to join us here in a little bit, and I'll ask him some of these questions about concussions because I am curious. I did a story a while ago with Bernie Kosar where we were walking through his home, and he was just sort of explaining to me the era that he played in, where he's explaining what it's like to get sacked on AstroTurf by Lawrence Taylor. And he's just sort of going through his house and showing me where he keeps some of his teeth. His body has been destroyed by football, and I'm imagining when he talks about some of the dependencies to alcohol that he has had that have resulted in a liver transplant, I'm assuming that he's doing some self-medicating on pain there because you need something to make your body feel a little bit better if you're being sacked back then on AstroTurf by Lawrence Taylor. You're not protecting the quarterbacks the way you are now. It is fairly amazing that during our lifetime, the moment that Tom Brady got hurt is the moment that all the rules changed for the quarterbacks. It's also amazing to me that even though the rules have changed for the quarterbacks, Jackson Dart is still ending up in the concussion protocol 5 out of the last 10 games, which it's not just oxymoronic that you can't keep a violent game safe. It's also a delusion to think that there are any rules that you could put in place for the quarterback that would actually protect the quarterback, given that every week we're looking at a call still that's roughing the passer, where all of us are saying that's not roughing the passer. The lengths that they're going to protect these quarterbacks, where you actually have Jeffrey Simmons coming in right up the middle and trying to put his arms at his side because he doesn't want to land the wrong way on a quarterback that he's been sacking the entirety of his life before the last 3 years.
I know.
I mean, think about what we're trying to do to protect these people, and yet still it's impossible to protect them. Mike's sitting here saying change Jackson Dart's playing style, and I'm like, man, that's just going to be really hard to do. You can tell him, but once you're being chased by somebody, you're going to run out of the pocket. This guy's instinct, the thing that makes Jackson Dart, the thing that makes him paint his face that way and want to be a New York star is that he's going to run right through to try and get to the end zone. I don't know how you change that.
And it's hard to change those things. Like we talk about the Diego Pavia situation. Like Diego Pavia got to where he is because he is like that. So asking him to stop being the way that he is kind of tough. You can look at hindsight and be like, yeah, he shouldn't have done that. But that's who he is. Jackson Dart is a guy who's going to be athletic. He's going to go out and try to be aggressive and get first downs and dive head first. Like, how do you train somebody to not do what he's done his entire life?
I mean, you can retrain Jackson Dart and Tua to be different kinds of quarterbacks, but always to the detriment of the team. I mean, that's the big criticism is if your quarterback can't run on 3rd and 2 with a likelihood of getting a first down, that's a huge problem in the modern NFL, and it is the big difference. One of the big differences why Josh Allen is so great, why Patrick Mahomes has been so great. Those guys can run on 3rd and 8, and you feel good that they're going to get a first down.
But the reason, or one of the reasons that this has not afflicted Josh Allen, I told you earlier this season how weird it was for me to see Sauce Gardner come on a blindside blitz, hit Josh Allen in the back, and he just spun out of it because Sauce Gardner's not big enough to do anything that actually hurts Josh Allen. In my lifetime, let me see if I have this right, because you guys, I understand how it is that you would come about saying, well, just teach him how to play differently. In my lifetime in football, there have been 2 things that I could remember that have been coached out of a player. Tiki Barber used to fumble. And then they made him hold the ball differently, and he stopped fumbling. He no longer was a fumbler. Usually, if you're a fumbler, you just lose your job. You don't stop being a fumbler. You just get run out of the league. The other thing that was coachable is Josh Allen's recklessness. he is less reckless. He can still do it, but he doesn't turn over the ball as much. Do you guys have a lot of examples of a coach being able to coach the style out of a quarterback? Like coach.
Yeah, I have a couple, but sometimes the league legislates it with how they hit you. Right? Ben Roethlisberger stopped doing that because his body couldn't do it anymore. He kind of grew out. Remember what he was when he broke into the league and what he was when he left the league. But Donovan McNabb was a guy that leaned on rushing the ball a lot, and Andy Reid changed his style of play. He was a guy that could tuck it down and run if you needed him to, but he wasn't the scrambler that he was when he broke into the league, and certainly not the scrambler that he was in Syracuse.
Wasn't Josh Allen a little more reckless than he was a few years ago?
Wow, you weren't listening at all to the
Steve
show
Martin
a
was too.
second ago. What were you doing? Were you thinking about cake?
I was thinking about examples like Josh Allen.
It's a good example.
But it's one of the examples that I gave.
That was probably while I was thinking.
Yeah, it's worth
One
reiterating.
of the 2 examples.
And the most recent example that he gave.
That's on me.
Oh, no one's confused about that part.
So you admit it's a good example.
So you were right, Christopher.
Good job, Chris.
Definitely not wrong, but I should listen better.
You were thinking about lunch, weren't you? Like what?
I was looking, honestly. It's not here yet.
It's not here.
All right, I'm going to stop now and wait for Brandon Marshall and see if I could do a show that the executive producer wants to listen to next.
What's up, B. Marsh?
What's up, man?
They told me to start to intro you like that. I was a little embarrassed to do it. I was going to say Brandon, but he told me to say B. Marsh.
I was a little devil over his shoulder.
No, it sounded bad. It sounded clunky. It sounded
He told me to say
awkward.
BM.
I told him to say BM. What up, BM?
That's bowel movement.
No,
Listen,
We don't want to.
listen. If this was 3 years ago, it would have been on point, right? Because I was a friend of the show. But dang, guys, you haven't invited me on the show in about 3 to 4 years. What's up?
It's
good?
overly chummy, given that he hasn't been on the show in a while. He'd also be offended by the conversation that we were having before he came on, because I'm like, this person's really close to being a Hall of Famer. If I'd given him a quarterback, I feel like Brandon Marshall would have been in the Hall of Fame. 12,000 yards in 13 seasons. That's pretty prolific. It's nice to see you. Thank you for being on with us. Who was the best quarterback you played with?
Great question. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, that's an easy answer for me. I had 22 guys throw me a pass. Ryan Fitzpatrick easily was the greatest one. I was just on another show and we were talking about Phillip Rivers, right? When I was playing with Ryan, when I had Chad Pennington, when we had Josh McCown go from, substitute teacher to back to the Chicago Bears and then lead the Bears to the number 1 Chicago Bears offense ever, I realized that the quarterback position was 80% mental, 20% physical. Now, if we're going physical, then I got to start with Jay Cutler, right? There wasn't a pass that he couldn't throw. He was one of the greatest athletes I've ever been around, but there was so much else going on around him, whether it's our team, maybe where he was at, where he never was able to elevate to where I believe Jay Cutler could have ended up on the quarterback list. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, was a beautiful, beautiful guy to play with. There you go. Yes, there go my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby.
I should have mentioned, by the way, he'll be part of the in-studio team for Netflix's NFL Christmas Day doubleheader broadcast. He'll be doing Lions.
Let's go.
Vikings live pregame show starts at 4 p.m. Before you came on with us, we were talking about concussions here, and I don't think that we have any real knowledge of what it means to have your head scrambled. Can you explain to us any of the details? I don't know if you ever had much experience with concussions, but the parts that people don't know about lack of sleep or how you actually get affected and scared, what can you tell us that people don't know?
Wow. The first thing that came to mind when you said, I actually got goosebumps and chills right now. As soon as you said that, the first thing I thought about was my only concussion, and it was in my contract year. And it was when I was in my sauna at home, and I was like, oh, this concussion thing is real. It's when I just literally just put my head down, just close my eyes. I wanted to sit a little bit, maybe 15, 20 minutes in a sauna. And as soon as I put my head down, I almost tipped over. And then I jumped out. I didn't know if it was because of the heat, and that probably wasn't a good idea at the time. And I did not tell this to the team because this was my contract year. If I had lost games, I probably would have lost a big deal. And so I got out the sauna, then I, got dressed. I went to go put on my shoes and I fell over again. And that was 2 weeks after the concussion. I said, dang, this 2 weeks ago I had this concussion. And every time I would bend over to put my shoes over, close my eyes, I would just fall. I would just almost fall over. It was very scary at the time. And I had to promise my lady that I would never do that again. But what I was thinking about was my kids that never came. I was thinking about my kids that I have now, Z, Ziggy, and Zoe. I said, there's no way they're going to take me off this football field. I came too far. I'm from the poorest county in all of Pennsylvania, one of the toughest cities, poverty-stricken. There's no way I'm going back there. That's the only thing I could think about. So all I was saying is I'm finishing this year. I end up finishing, having over 100 catches, another Pro Bowl year. And I went on to the Miami Dolphins, came down here with you, Dan. You did not invite me on the show at the time. I think you were still at ESPN. You was with the bad guys at the time. And yeah, so that was my situation with concussions.
We recently talked about something that Quentin Jammer, I believe you played against Quentin Jammer. Quentin Jammer said in 2010 he played 8 games just face drunk. And I'm like, that's not possible. You cannot cover Brandon Marshall if you're drunk. You can't cover him when you're sober. Do you think it's possible that he was face drunk for, he said 8 games in 2010 or 2011?
Your show is going to turn into something different because I'm about to give some viral bites myself. I played high one game and I had 3 touchdowns. It was Chicago Bears against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I wasn't high off of no drugs or weed, that type of drugs, no street drugs. I was actually high off of pain pills, right? The week before, we're playing against the San Francisco 49ers, about to open up their new stadium. It was like Monday Night Football. I tore my ankle. I was supposed to be out 6 weeks. And I said, no way. And I asked the team, just give me until pregame to prove to them that I could be good enough to go out there. And so, man, I take this thing up after a long week of just healing and recovery, flying doctors into Chicago to help me out. And I may have popped like six pills, right? What is it? Codeine or something, codeine and hydrocodone. And then there was 2 other things. I got the horse shot, they call it, that the one shot you get in your butt. I got that.
The Toradol.
At the time they wasn't the Toradol. Yeah, there it was. So at the time they stopped giving us the Toradol shot. So what I ended up doing is going on the black market and getting Toradol pills. So I took 2 Toradols. I took maybe 4 or so hydrocodines, and I went out there and I felt nothing. And I scored 3 touchdowns.
Well, career high.
3 touchdowns. So yes, a guy can go out there drunk for 8 games and play pretty good football.
What do you remember about how your thinking was affected? Because you had 5 catches for 48 yards. You had the 3 touchdowns. You have some cognizant memories of how it is that you felt, or you just felt nothing?
No, I just remember. I just remember taking him, right before we went out, and just being like, "Holy sh!" I'm trying to stop cursing here, so can't say that because my mom is watching your show. She's a big fan. But I'm like, "Holy, what is happening?" I was scared. I said, "I may have made a mistake. I don't feel the pain, but am I going to be able to remember all these plays?" But I was fine. I really was fine. I was able to navigate through it. So there was no lacks in that area.
Brandon, the season opener in 2008 against the Chargers and Quentin Jammer, you had 18 catches for 166
yards.
He
was drunk.
And a touchdown.
He was drunk.
Yes.
He was drunk. How you give up 18 catches? He was drunk. No, it wasn't against Quentin Jammer. That was more so on Antonio Cromartie.
Crow. He had 11 tackles, though, Quentin Jammer, so you got to think maybe there's a chance that was near you.
Yeah, 2011, that was a different year. You should have asked. Now, mental health is a real thing. I think when did he retire, right? Because 2011, the first time I faced Quentin Jammer, and I used to see him twice a year, was in 2006. And that was actually my welcome to the NFL moment, was Quentin Jammer. So Coach Shanahan, it was week 6. So Coach Shanahan called me on an off day, and he brought me in his office, and he said, "I'm putting you in now." He said, here's your package, and here's who you're going against. I think this is a great matchup for you. You're 6'5", 230. You know, he's like slow. He's stiff. You know, you're going to be able to dominate this guy, but this is your time. It's time to go. It's going to be about 20, 30 plays. You're the third receiver now, okay? You ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. So I go out to Best Buy, buy myself a TV that I couldn't afford at times when those big TVs was thousands of dollars. And I went outside my budget. I said, man, I'm going to go buy this. So I got to pay it off, man. I got to go out, ball out on Sunday. Man, I get out there on Sunday. Quentin Jammer jammed me up. Quentin Jammer. I said, this is a grown man. I couldn't get down the field. I said, man, what Coach Shanahan set me up for failure. So that was my experience with Quentin Jammer, and there was so much respect for him after that. And those years after, you know, they started to deteriorate a little bit. So maybe he was just in a different headspace in 2011.
Well, I remember the game that you had against Darrelle Revis because you were as formidable as there was at the position. Give me a guy that you went up against like that where you would put even ahead of Quentin Jammer, because that's at the beginning of your career. Yeah. You then learn some things. But give me later in your career. You're established and you're going up against somebody and you're like, this is a problem.
Yeah, a couple guys, right? So when I was young, there was always like these grown men, right? I'm like, oh, this is the NFL, grown men. Quentin Jammer was one of those guys. Another guy was Al Harris. Al Harris, defensive back coach, I believe, for the Dallas Cowboys maybe now. He used to play for the Green Bay Packers. He was a grown man, okay? Now when you look at my peers, of course, you have Darrelle Revis out there. You have Aqib Talib. You have Richard Sherman. You have some great matchups out there. But there were some interesting guys too, right? There was guys I was like, oh, I wasn't prepared for him. And there was guys I feel like kind of made their career or started their career off of games like against me. Gilbert, so bump and run Gilmore, okay? So he was one of those young guys. I was like, okay, he's interesting. I got to watch a little bit more film on him. Another guy was I'm sorry, I'm missing his name. The defensive back that Coach Belichick benched in the Super Bowl. We always like, what is
Malcolm Butler? Yeah.
Malcolm Butler shut me and Alshon Jeffrey down when we were in Chicago. This dude came off the bench. He looked like he came out of the bar, and he just shut us down. And then there was another guy, Xavier Howard from the Miami Dolphins. Xavier Howard was a dog, right? So there were some guys out there, but of course, the big dogs, you know, Champ Bailey, Darrelle Revis, those were some grown men and some really cool matchups. And another one that, I probably never beat this guy, or, you know, I had some great matches against Darrelle Revis, but Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson was 50 years old, and I couldn't understand why he was still keeping up with me.
Fluid hips.
Well, you mentioned Malcolm Butler. That body, you're just looking at that body, and you're like, that can't cover me, correct?
Correct, 100%. He looks like your guy over there. What's this guy that asked me the question about? What's your name over there? Sorry.
Zaslow?
Me?
Look at Malcolm Butler.
Zaslow.
Yeah.
Hey, B-Marsh, he's got a big-ass head, right?
And a soda drinker's body.
Zaz, how long have you been on the show?
Like 8 or 9 months now.
How long?
8, 9 months.
Yeah, you're a new guy. You're the new guy.
Yeah.
You're the rookie. You're the rookie. Yeah. This show's been around 20 years, buddy, okay? Earn your stripes, buddy.
I'm trying my best. I'm
8,
trying
9
to fit
years.
in.
Get out of here. You're still in your first year. Get out of here.
Do you have
guys over here been on the show for 10 years doing the same thing, getting Dan's coffee?
Boy, last
you
time
over here, and now you gonna give him TV time? How dare you give him TV time in the first year?
I regret bringing up your 18 catch game.
Do you have a good Talib story? Because he was scary. Talib was scary.
I guess my only Aqib Talib story was getting this podcast business last year. So, you know, I went through a lot, had a breakup on our podcast, and then I was like, I'm gonna put the team back together. And so this is like my third time like taking the shot at it. Aqib comes down and he gives this speech to everybody who was there, Martellus Bennett, Ted Prescott, all these guys, some legends. And he's like, we got our brothers back. I believe in team. Boy, we got into the season. Aqib, after like week 2, week 3, is like, nah, man, I can't show up. I'm like,
It was a good
And now
speech,
he's on. And now he's on Gilbert Arenas' platform, doing a phenomenal job. But it's exactly what everybody saw, because years ago he was taking off in the booth, and then he had to step aside for a couple of years. But he's one of the bright spots in sports media now. I'm excited for him and sad that we missed the opportunity to build a platform together. But he's going to do well.
I don't know your age off the top of my head. I assume you're younger than Phillip Rivers. When you're watching Phillip Rivers not play for 5 years and then play that way, your assessment was what of that performance on Sunday?
Not surprised at all. Not surprised. I was excited. I wanted to see the ratings. That's what I wanted to see, how many people was actually going to turn on the TV just to see. Very curious. I didn't expect him to go over 150, and I think that may have been the line. So I wasn't expecting that, but I was expecting him to operate at a high level. You guys got to think, he goes way back with this head coach. This head coach was, on his offensive staff when he was still playing. And, quarterbacks, they know what they can do and what they can't do, right? It's not like they're going to throw the whole playbook at him, right? So, the Saturday before the game, you get the call shoes like, I like this, I like that, I don't like that, right? So he's going to be in a comfortable spot. The question was he going to be able to bounce up from a hit? And, they protect the quarterback now. I said this earlier when we talk about the quarterbacks. The quarterback position is 80% mental, okay? Peyton Manning at 40-something years old as well, with a broken neck, he won the Super Bowl. He couldn't pass. He couldn't make a throw the ball past 25 years. Who's this guy over here shaking his hand? Who's this guy?
That's Tony. That's Tony.
What up, BM? What up? No, what I was going to say is the defense really carried him. He went 9 for 9 touchdowns, 17 picks that season. Brock Osweiler also helped a little bit. But no, I agree.
Hold on. I like you. I like you.
Me
One,
too.
because
I
you're
like
wearing
you.
the Daily shirt. I love those guys down in Miami.
Those are my guys. Those are our guys.
Yes, my guys. Yes, shout out to Chris. But and also, your stuff, because I was going to go there, but you cut me off when you start doing a little hand gesture. Great defense. They can run the ball. They could do it all. Brock Osweiler, that's where you missed me. Brock Osweiler, they paid him all that money, and he stunk it up.
He was trash. I agree.
He stunk it up. But Peyton Manning was able to do his job. That's all you need out of some of these quarterbacks. Just do your job. Don't mess up the game when you have all those other pieces around them. They happen to have potentially this year's best back in football, right? They got a good defense. Just don't mess it up. I like you, though, man. How long you been on this show?
5 years.
All right, you're OG.
Better than Zaz. Big ass head, Zaz.
Why does Zaz got the better seat than you? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You guys should switch right now.
Game recognized. Great question.
Talk to him.
The man said
switch.
Give me what you got on Tua and the Dolphins.
Hold on. Go back to that camera angle. Who's that guy?
Who are you pointing at now? Greg Cody? Are you pointing?
No, not Pop. So don't do that.
All right. I got a question. For
No,
Brandon,
go to the other camera angle where we just switched. No, black guy. DEI. That guy right there who's not smiling.
Hockey Roy.
Go back. No, go back.
Got to be Mike Ryan.
That guy. Who is that guy? Why doesn't he smile? He needs to have his own show. Why aren't you smiling, buddy? You okay? It's Christmas.
I no longer
time.
believe you're a big fan of our show.
He's been around for longer than most of the people around here. I do appreciate you coming in here and calling him Pops and respecting the generational talent. Off of last night's game, Tua and the Dolphins, we have been pretty hard on the idea that there's been a regression there. Your thoughts on what the Dolphins need to do at quarterback?
Oof. Yeah, it's just, man, I hate to talk like this, man. I guess it's part of our job, right? My job now that I'm on this side of the line with you. If you want to win a Super Bowl, Tua is not the guy who's going to help you win a Super Bowl, but Tua, you got to respect the couple years that he gave you, that came in here and gave some stability and had some phenomenal years, but something's off there. Call it concussions, call it, relationship with Tyreek Hill. Tua is an interesting one. I think that, that decision is going to be on Mike. If the general manager decide to keep Mike McDaniel will have to decide, does he want to keep Tua? But what we got to realize this too, guys, is that relationship between a dog, number one receiver and the quarterback is everything. There's been times I've been in the locker room as that dog number one wide receiver, and man, I was in my quarterback's head. When I was young and how I approach situations, it tore up the whole offensive side. Our offensive coordinators can't think. They're holding the cards like this every day, shaking because they're like, man, if I don't call the right play and Brandon Marshall's not in it, I got to hear from him. Then you go to your quarterback. Your quarterback is frustrated. He can't go through his progressions. So the offense out of whack. You want those guys to be out there calm, cool, collected, and just going with the flow of the game, how they see the game, not saying I have to force it to someone. Tyreek Hill has been phenomenal over the last couple of years, but Tyreek Hill is also one of those dog number one receivers that can present some challenges, some management challenges. So, I was looking for more after Tua. After Tyreek went down, thought he was going to actually take his game up a notch, and that didn't happen. So that was surprising for me. But remember how they started off this year. Tyreek Hill, he was saying he wanted out. Then he said he's coming back. Then he wanted out. And then he comes in and he apologized to his team. I'm working on my leadership and doing all of that. Tua says that he broke some relationships within, not only the offense, but the entire building. That's a big problem. So when we think about why guys, aren't performing at a high level, sometimes it's about the things that's happened off the field, not on the field.
He's part of the in-studio team for Netflix's NFL Christmas Day doubleheader broadcast. Tony has said the Christmas Day is now.
You look good in that seat, baby.
brother.
He has said that it is now Christmas Day is now an NFL day. It is no longer an NBA day.
I mean, NFL is now the games aren't great. Okay, obviously Patrick Mahomes isn't there. The Commies and the Cowboys, whatever. But you look at the NBA; they got a bunch of good games. Just feels like anytime the NFL's on, we got to watch it. There's a bunch of great games in the NBA, but I'm going to be locked in on the NFL.
Brandon, what are you excited about being part of this coverage here? Because Netflix hasn't done this, and you haven't done exactly this.
Two phenomenal brands coming together, right? Like the NFL. I mean, this is a national holiday at this point every single Sunday. So being a part of the NFL, playing, and now on the other side of it, covering it and still having amazing relationships on that side of things, that's a huge honor, man. Sometimes you take that for granted in your youth, but looking back, it's like, man, I played in the National Football League. I get to cover the National Football League. And then Netflix jumping into the game. Oh, my goodness. You got two beasts of brands and companies coming together, and I'm sitting right in the middle. So it's gratitude, right? And that's some of the things that I'm thinking about, like, when we open it up and you got to say certain, I'm preparing already, like some of the things I want to say, and it's gratitude. Like I had an opportunity to play on Christmas Day as a player. You know how many people were watching me at home on Christmas Day catch a touchdown or catch a ball? Wow, God is so good. And now doing it on the other side on Netflix, just gratitude, man. Just, even what you guys are doing, man. Like you trailblazed this space for us, bro. You left traditional, you left linear to come on this side and said, no, I'm doing it this way because I think it's better for me and my voice and what the fans need. And the entrepreneur spirit that you had, bro. You understand? Like, you trailblaze this place for people like us, man. Just gratitude and just being thankful for what we have. Like, people don't know how hard it is to do this, right? Or how, to get these opportunities, right? Look at this. I'm messing around with your staff, but you're employing how many people, giving so many people opportunities. How many people have been launched off your show, right?
Yeah, too many people.
So gratitude.
I
can preach all day. Too many.
American hero.
It's good.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy throwing us the love sign? Who's that guy?
We've got to go, unfortunately.
Don't go. He's a star. I love this guy.
You are right that God is good, but he could have been better. He could have given you a quarterback better than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Go Knights, Brandon.
Good seeing you, Brandon. Thank you for
Love
making
you
the
guys.
time. I do appreciate it. 1,200 yards in 13 seasons, 900 catches, 6 Pro Bowls. He was damn good, and he would have been in the Hall of Fame if he had a quarterback. One quarterback.
Tony, how's it feeling there?
Feels great. I was going to actually say that he's massive. I saw him in person.
Who, Dan?
And you
Oh.
No. Yeah,
He is. He's big.
Being in that room,
He's hard to cover.
Brandon
6'4".
Marshall, I saw him at the Super Bowl in L.A., and I walked by, and I was like, damn, I'm 6'4", 230. And I was like, damn, that guy's huge.
Yeah, he was hard to cover.
Holy
weren't a lot of cornerbacks who could cover him. Oh man,
It's hotter on this side, by the way.
it is, isn't it? There's more pressure here. Zaz, you feel a little uncomfortable back there? He really bossed us around there. He moved things around.
I didn't like that.
You standing or you sitting back there? I can't see.
Yeah, there's a tear coming down Zaz's eye.
Mike is pissed off too. Mike feels disrespected.
Who's that guy?
Fan my ass.
Bill Barnwell is saying that the Packers will be paying Micah Parsons the equivalent of $65 million per year over the next 4 years. And one of the weird things that happens where you would assume that pass rush in Denver, for example, that is great. You would assume it would result in more turnovers than last year. It has not. With Micah Parsons this year, the Packers went from third in interception rate last year to 26th in interception rate this year. So, like, what you need a pass rusher. Everybody would want a pass rusher. It makes sense to want a pass rusher. The Packers can't pick the ball off all of a sudden. Juju Gotti is here. I imagine he's real disappointed with the entire group at how it is you reacted to Pablo Torre being named Sports Media Person of the Year by awful announcing. He's always positive. He's always supportive. He supports his teammates. He's got to be just generally mortified by your indifference that Pablo is changing the entirety of the game and Zaz and Chris Cody are shrugging their shoulders while Zaz dreams of hosting shows with Giannis.
Right, bruh. We got to salute our brothers and sisters when we do accomplishments, man. They are few and far between in a lot of cases in the world. So when our brothers and sisters do great in the world, we got to pat them on the back, man. We looking at 2 champion GMs right now in that studio right now. I don't think that's enough been talked about. So everybody, Pablo for sure, Jared Emmy, another one. Come on now. My boy Greg Cody, another book on the way. Come on now. Zaz 2.0, hats being made now. That's how much the fanfare has risen. Roy playing hockey himself these days. My boy was in pads the other day. Come on, man. My boy Tony, he out on the beach, on the pier, and he got other basketball podcasts going on. Come on, bro. Everybody in that studio doing great. But today is about the kid, Daniel Le Batard, man. Happy birthday, brother. We love you so much, man.
Pat me on the 6.
Wow.
Now you get it.
That was more than 3 there.
I know.
It did. It wasn't a 6.
My arm not that long.
You did pat me on
All
the
right,
3.
lean in.
It was
Give
the
me a hand.
microphone
Lean
got
in.
in your way. The microphone got in your
That
way.
kind of thing.
Juju, before we update the polls, what else do you want to get to before we get to the polls?
Definitely. In Dan Le Batard fashion, you always say it's not your kink, but we know. We were your family. We understand. So I'm going to go top 5 Dan Le Batard costumes that I can think of.
Wow. This is big. A lot to choose from here.
Number 5, whoever you were. I don't know if this is Goldilocks, missing the 3 bears, but number 5, sir. Who are you wearing, brother?
I think I was Game of Thrones. I think
Just
that
the
was,
whole show.
That's you?
No, I think what was the star, the dragon woman? What was
Khaleesi?
I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that's
we
what
love
I
her.
was doing there with
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Look at those arms.
You look good.
It's a lot of arms
Right.
showing
Wow.
off there.
Come on, man. 27-inch pythons, man. Number 4, Benito, man. My boy, this year, you were fresh as hell as Benito. I loved it, man. You put look how the effort you put into this. I don't know if it was you or Valerie, but the gloves brought it home, bro.
I think I know the answer to that.
It wasn't me making those gloves with sequins. That was Valerie. It wasn't me stitching those
Dan's
gloves.
there with like little glasses, like, oh, this would be nice.
3 a.m. Number 3, my boy, he dressed up. I was like, 2023 Ken. Look at him. Come on, man. Look at the hips on my boy.
Those are skinny jeans right there.
Right. It was fantastic. It went along with the season. The movie had just come out. Brilliant costume. Number 2, my brother, when you was Richard Simmons. This is more epic because of what you were talking about right there. The world had been waiting on you to finally discuss Whitlock. And you said, you know what? Let's do it. And the number 1 costume, man, made hearts break across the country. My boy took his chest out, man. Dan is Nacho Libre, man. Look at the kicks, man, everywhere, head to toe, man. Drip certified. Salute, brother. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Juju. I appreciate that for my birthday you have caused me the great national and international shame of this is not a kink. I'm embarrassed by these all the time.
Oh, you love these.
Okay, you guys keep saying that. You guys are better at knowing what I feel than I am. Yes, I know that. And when I tell you I feel differently, you're great at calling me a liar. Let's update some polls. Do you know how annoying it is for me to spend an hour in the bathroom before I come into work with Valerie putting makeup on me and an assortment of things that are uncomfortable? You guys think I like it? I do not like it. I never like it.
You love it.
I do it for the audience. I do it for our loyal fans. How many penalties do you guys owe around here? How many
Punishments? I think I owe 2.
Chris
right
owes
now.
4.
One.
I don't know. It's 3.
Yeah.
3?
Well, it was. I have to sing the national.
You sing the national anthem yet?
And then I got to do a TikTok.
And then there's 2 more.
I thought it was 1 more.
Okay.
I think it actually
I'll sing
might be
that
another
national anthem tomorrow.
You
How about
guys are not responsible. You're not accountable. Cody, Greg, do you owe any
It's week
penalties?
15.
Any
So
penalties?
close. No,
Cody,
Cody
Greg.
hasn't picked one even one time this year.
You haven't lost? Or
He hasn't
keep it
picked
that way.
one. He hasn't been here on a Thursday.
Oh.
Should we have him go right now for this week? So he
Yes.
has to.
Yeah.
We should. Yes, go ahead.
I will
and
get the bucket. We won't make the Reaper dress up. I'll go get the bucket.
Okay, what do you mean the Reaper dresses up? The Reaper, that's what the Reaper looks like every day. The Reaper doesn't dress up. The Reaper's always dressed as the
Wait,
Reaper.
I don't know what the Reaper looks like underneath, but it's got clothes on, right?
No,
I mean,
the
that
Reaper
Reaper's
goes.
putting
No,
clothes-
put it on the poll.
A Reaper can be naked.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the Grim Reaper ever not in costume? And does the Grim Reaper ever walk around nude around his house or her house when the Reaper?
Yeah, Mrs. Reaper
is
would like that.
being the Reaper. At Le Batard Show, we will close out the show today by having Greg Cody go to the bucket. But let's update these polls, Juju.
Can you be great athletically if your name is Biff? 77% of the audience says no, you cannot. Does Diego Pavia put the ass in class? 91% of the audience says yes, he does. That kind of made me mad yesterday when we had Josh Pate on, and he was like, well, I just kind of have a Diego Pavia filter that I just, nah, brother, if that was Shador, we had no Shador damn filter. Neither here nor there. Has anyone ever said anything interesting after saying, I don't know if this is interesting to you? 82% of the audience says, no, they have not. And last poll, can the average 9-year-old kid tell time on a clock that isn't digital? 81% of the audience says, no, they can't, and those are your polls.
So that is just officially dying. Telling time without digital aid is something that is dying. Here comes Tony with the Den Tech bucket. No Reaper today. No Reaper, just Tony. Reach into the Den Tech bucket and let's see what we have here. I don't have point spreads in front of me. I don't have schedules in front of me either. So, you like to rummage. Make sure that when you take your pick, you speak in front of the microphone, Greg. I see you're moving away from the microphone again.
San Francisco.
Monday Night Football at Phillip Rivers. I have that in my calendar. That's how I know that so
They're a
quickly.
6-point favorite at the Colts on Monday Night Football. Keeping it?
I like that.
Okay, he's going to keep it.
Yeah.
All right, so Phillip Rivers, who is older than Greg Cody, is
Thank
starting
you.
a game against the San Francisco
That's why
49ers.
I kept it.
Thank you, Juju. Appreciate the time, as always.
Yes, sir. Rest in
And
peace,
if
Rob
we're-
Reiner and his wife.
If we're slapping people on the 6 as well, I will say that you should support Alley Oop. He does a great job on all basketball matters and pop culture matters. Juju Alley Oop, wherever it is you get your podcasts, also has its own YouTube page if you want to support all the things Juju is. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.